Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. Today, I'm answering your YouTube questions. So if you have a question about what it is that you're doing on YouTube, there is a link to a form down in the description of this stream right now. So go ahead and get your questions in there before that form gets filled up. I also want to let you know that if you are listening to this on the replay, or you're watching this on the replay, or if you're listening to the audio version of this, feel free to skip around because during this stream, a lot of information is shared, as I'm sure you can see on the timestamp. We talk about YouTube the entire time. So because of that, you know, if you're wanting to just get deeper insights into what it is that you can do to be better on YouTube, then make sure that you just skip around, find the content that's great for you, or just throw in some headphones, listen to it as you are, you know, going through your day, or watch it, you know, as you're chilling from time to time over the course of the week. And then you can get the information that way as well. And if you want to join us live, you can find us here on my YouTube channel, Nick Nimmin. You can find us every Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern here, hanging out. So hopefully I will see you over there. Now, I also want to let you know that this stream is brought to you by TubeBuddy, the #1 browser plugin for the #1 tool for YouTube content creators. TubeBuddy will help you optimize your videos for discovery. It'll help you manage your YouTube channel in general with all types of tasks that YouTubers have to commonly do manually. TubeBuddy's going to help you with all of that stuff. So it makes YouTube easier for you and helps give you insight into videos to make, video optimization, testing your thumbnails, things like that. This stream is also co-sponsored by StreamYard. StreamYard is the live streaming platform that I use to live stream this show every single Saturday. And the reason I use StreamYard is because, one, it's super easy to use. Two is it does all the processing in the cloud, so I don't have to have a really beefy computer in order to use it in live stream. And I've even had several times where my live stream has completely went down, but because I'm streaming through StreamYard and I'm streaming to the cloud, it actually holds my stream open, allows me to come in on my mobile phone and keep the stream going, even though my internet at home is down. So check out StreamYard at StreamYard.com. Check out TubeBuddy at TubeBuddy.com/Nimmin. Also, if you are a TubeBuddy, or if you're new to YouTube, or if you have under 1,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel, just as a heads up, TubeBuddy will actually give you a discount if you do decide to upgrade. Now, with all that stuff out of the way, I do want to let you know, just as a quick heads up, that I am now releasing these. They're going to be released on a delay, and the reason for that is because, you know, it just makes it more fun just to hang out here. But Nimmin Live is now available in podcast format. So if you are on an Apple device, of course, you can just look for Nimmin Live. It's still in the process of getting approved for some of the other places. But if you just look for Nimmin Live on your favorite podcasting platform of choice, then it will pop up either today or sometime here later this week. But those streams are actually coming out on a week delay. So because of that, that gives me time to finish the stream here and then, of course, get it down, upload it there, and all that good stuff. So these are coming out a week behind, but they're still available for you audio folks to make sure that you are good to go there. Fox, the cutest dog in the West, says, "Hey, Nick, 105K. High five and fist bump to you. Nice work on getting the channel rocking there. Love seeing that kind of information coming through here in the stream. Shark Scrapper, what is going on? Baking with Charlene, nice to see you here. Jeff, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic today. Beanie Draws in the house. I saw them over on the StreamYard channel. I saw them, you know, you won one of the things over there, and they're just talking about how awesome your artwork is. So I just wanted to just kind of reiterate that and just say how awesome an artist that Beanie Draws is. We also got Viper, the man about tech, right here in the house. Viper, what is up, my man? I hope that you are also doing fantastic today. I hope everybody's doing fantastic today. And I do want to let you know as well that I do have links to a bunch of helpful and useful stuff for YouTube content creators down in the description as well, so that I don't have to sit here and just keep, you know, saying a bunch of stuff. I just want to let you know that I do have links to, you know, a bunch of useful things for you down in the description of this live stream right now. So make sure that you check that out, or you can just go to bestcreatortools.com. That's my website that I put together. It's a resource site. And basically that is the site where I share all the things that I recommend for YouTube content creators, all the things that I use as well. So with all of that out of the way, man, it's been a great week. So I batched out some of the, for those of you that participated in my subscriber Q&A question that I posted in the community feed, you know, I cranked out a handful of videos the other day so that I can start getting, you know, going through those for you so I can get some of your questions answered in video format as well. So just as a heads up, like if you want your question answered in video format, like here's good too. But if you want your question answered in video format, anytime I make one of those posts about the subscriber Q&A, make sure that you drop your question in there because it might, you know, end up showing up in a video. And then if you have that question, the way that I look at it, if you have the question, there's a ton of other people that also have that question. So because of that, it allows me to add more value to the community through the questions that you ask. So because of that, I just want to thank you for that. And Viper, my man, says it's been too long. Indeed, it has. I hope that you are doing fantastic, my friend. We should definitely catch up soon. I would have loved to have hopped on your live stream. I think it's this coming week, but unfortunately, man, it's like 7 a.m. my time. Like I'm willing to stay up late for it, but that's like way late, you know, like I'm way in dreamland by that time. So so hopefully we can catch up soon on something. Urban Explorer Neil, what's up, dude? Hope that you're doing fantastic out there in the living that van life out there, building all kinds of cool stuff for the van community. Super cool. So, hey, what's up, Tom? Nice to see Tom Nash here in the house, dude. Hope you're doing great. Doug Hewson, what's up, my man? Nice to see you in here as well. Rodney Full Circle and my Magic Flying Potato. So I got a funny story here for the channel members. So every single week, we do a live stream in the members only Facebook group, the Nimmin VIP Facebook group. And this week, I was actually reviewing channels, you know, during that time, because that's what I usually do during those streams. And when I was reviewing those, we pulled up one channel. And that particular channel, for whatever reason, I mean, I know why, but Facebook's, image recognition or whatever, they deemed that channel as racy in terms of not safe to be live streaming, and they just shut the whole stream down. So luckily, it was at the very end of the stream, but unfortunately, this week, if you are a channel member, just a heads up, that replay is not going to be available this week unless Facebook, you know, opens it back up and says, okay, cool, because I disputed it. So we'll just see, you know, how they end up, you know, handling that. Paul Peck Drywall Tube, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic as well. So I would like to invite you, if you haven't yet, to share this out on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or anywhere where you know YouTubers are hanging out. You know, feel free to share this out there, get some more YouTubers in here so we can all, you know, hang out and enjoy this information. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the first questions here, and we're going to actually start that. We're going to start this party with, let's see here. Let me scroll up on the screen. This is from Redger Boxing TV. Superchat says, hey, Nick, I just want to ask, our faceless YouTube channels can be easily monetized. I'm running a boxing channel and I just use my voice for narration. Absolutely. So there's tons of humongous YouTube channels to where you do not see the face of the content creator ever. Like there's a lot of them. Typically, those are like animation channels. Those can also be unboxing channels where people are doing things from the top down. A lot of actually, not just unboxing channels, but a lot of content where they shoot it from the top down. Tons of people do that where they don't have to show their face as well. You also have gaming content where they don't show their face in a lot of the, a lot of the channels. So because of that, yeah, without question, you are totally good to go on not showing your face in the, in your video content. Yeah, dog channels. Fox and the Cutest Dog of the West says dog channels also are something where you don't have to show your face either, because you are, in that case, of course, you're using the dog's face instead of your own. So that can also keep you off cam as well. So I09999 says, hello, greetings from Norway, Nick. Please add some game on StreamYard. So if you're talking about the spinny thing, so I'll be straight up with you. So I didn't I've heard about that particular thing inside of StreamYard, and I've thought like, hey, I should add that to the live streams, but I never actually tested it out. And I just saw my brother and Daniel, because they were doing channel reviews over on the StreamYard channel, and I just saw them using it in a really cool way. So I'm definitely going to try to come up with a way to implement some of that here, because it was super fun. It made hanging out in their stream a really good time. So it's definitely something that I'm going to experiment with here during these live streams as well. And we'll see how you guys, respond to it. If you dig it, then, we'll keep doing it. If you're like, nah, then, we won't keep doing it. So we'll see how it all works out. Top Rank says, I know your uncle. Super cool. Tell him I said, hey. Let's see here. As we keep on going through the list, we've also got Tier Talk. Tier Talk says, hey, Nick.
Superchat.
Actually just said Nick. Can you discuss momentum? Can one viral video pivot someone's channel? If so, how do you maintain the right momentum? What momentum is on YouTube is momentum is when you have a either one video that takes off and starts driving, traffic to your channel. And then of course you follow that up with content that's relevant to that video based on the interests that the people have that are coming in from that video that did exceptionally better than the normal content. So the other side of momentum is when, think of it this way, snowball, right? So with a snowball, as it's rolling down the hill, more snow keeps adding to it. And because of that, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? So the momentum idea on YouTube is twofold. One is if you have, a video or two that really starts doing great, and then you ride that by creating more momentum by just following it up with content that those people love. And then on the other hand, you also have it to where if you have a YouTube channel that you start today, then you're going to publish a video on that maybe today, maybe sometime here this week or something like that. And you're going to have one video on your YouTube channel. Okay. So because that one video, you might not be able to generate that much momentum yet. Maybe it'll just go out to like a handful of people in terms of impressions, depending on how they respond to it is going to, that's going to be reflected in the results that you're getting from that particular video. And then you publish another video. So now instead of having one video that's bringing in, let's just go low, right? Just so we can really paint this picture here. Let's say you have one video that's bringing in 5 views a day. Okay. And then you have another video that you publish, the following week or later in the week, and that one starts bringing in 5 views a day. Now you went from 0 views a day on your YouTube channel to 10 views a day in the course of a week because you put out content that people, enjoy enough for YouTube to still show it to people. Maybe not, at scale, but they're still showing it to people, and that you still have people coming into your YouTube channel. Then from there, you have the next week and you upload 2 more videos. Let's say that those only bring in 5 views a day. Well, now you're up to 20 views a day. And, the more content that you keep putting out, basically what you keep doing is you keep feeding the channel with content. And during the process of feeding the channel with content, that's slowly increasing those daily view counts. In addition to that, you're also learning how to be a better content creator. You're paying attention to your YouTube analytics so that you can learn how to make better content for the people that are watching your videos. You're learning how to make better thumbnails, how to be better on camera or better on your voiceover, whatever it is that you're doing, be more engaging with how you're playing the game, whatever. But you are upping your skill sets while you're also putting out this content that is bringing in more views. So then the next thing you know, let's say we're a month down the road, you've got, let's see here at that time, let's say you've got 8 videos out. And then at the first week of next month, let's say you put out a video that ends up getting, 20 views a day by itself or 100 views a day by itself, that because you're improving your skill sets, then bam, then you start having that one feeding the channel on a regular basis. So the idea with all of this, and this is, part of the reason that people talk about, upload 50 videos, upload 100 videos to your YouTube channel before you even start thinking about worrying about view counts and things like that. Because when you start taking that approach, while you're building your skill set, you're also putting out these videos that are starting to, create that momentum on your YouTube channel as long as you can get some views coming in on them every single day. So the idea with this is where we always talk about niching down your content. And what that means is not necessarily limiting your content, but just thinking, okay, with every piece of content that I'm putting out on my channel, how good of a fit is this for the people that watched the last video or the video before that or the video before that, so that you can turn your channel into an entire resource of content for people that like to consume content like yours, whatever that content might be. So that's the idea of momentum on YouTube. So hopefully that answered your question enough. Scarlett, hope that you are doing fantastic. Let's see here. So as we scroll up, we had a couple more come in, and then I'm going to jump into the forum after these. Jimmy Rooney, what's up, man? I hope that you're doing fantastic. If I remember right, I think it was you on Twitter asking about the live stream. Welcome to live stream. If this is your first one, there's a form down in the description. So make sure that you get your question down there. If you have anything specific that you want to know, just make sure that you get it down in that form so that we can pull it up here during the stream. Top Ranked, thank you for the super chat from you as well. Super appreciated. And let's see here as I keep going up the list. I think that's it. We got Tier Talk. Okay. And then let's see here. Traveling Man Las Vegas says, I do Vegas content. My last Fremont Street video did 16,000. Usually they're 3,000. How do I duplicate this since most of my Fremont videos are the same? So what you want to do is you want to look at the title of that video. You want to look at the thumbnail of that video to see exactly what it is that you do, or exactly what it is that you did in that thumbnail that caused people to click on that one more than the other videos. You also want to look at how people responded to your actual video that you had, the actual content, because the content is the thing that matters the most on YouTube. So because of that, you know, look and pay really close attention to the details of what it is that you did in your thumbnail. Look at the colors, look at what you were focusing on in terms of the imagery, look at any text you used or did not use, look at how well your title and your thumbnail work together. Look at how you structured your title, look at the specific words that you used in your title, and think to yourself, like, is any of this something that might have possibly, you know, caused somebody to want to click on this? If so, how can I replicate it? Then you want to go through your video content as well, look at your audience retention reports, and you want to see exactly how people were interacting with your content in real time. YouTube shows us this inside of our YouTube analytics. They show us exactly at scale how people are interacting with our content. So what you want to do is you want to look at that graph and you want to say, okay, this is the stuff that people were enjoying, so that you can start applying that to the new videos. And you also want to look at it, like if this one's got 16,000, you normally get 3. Start looking at everything about that video and really break it down. Look at the pacing in terms of how fast you were going from thing to thing. Look at the tone, your tonality when you were having the conversation there in the video. Look at how you actually open that video. We call that the hook. Like, how did you grab their attention when the video first opened to make them want to watch for a longer period of time? Look at how you ended the video. Look at how many people clicked on your end screens. You know, look at all of the details of your video, even the things that you focused on, how you were moving the camera, if you were vlogging it. Look at all of the details involved in that video and try to replicate that, or at least learn from it and apply some of the things that you learn from it on future content. Now, here's the thing, and this is something that I've been, you know, telling you guys for years now, is when you are putting your content together and you have successful content, like one of the things you got to do is you have to go in and you have to, you know, just come up with theories on why it is that you think that content did better. And then you get to test those theories against new content. So, you know, just make sure that you're going through and you're analyzing everything about that video that already performed well for you, and see if you can uncover theories that you think might have caused your audience to respond to it, and then start testing those theories on new content as it comes out. Let's see here. Top Rank says, do you still believe in the top 10 channels? You mean like, you know, top 10 movie stars that did, you know, this particular thing? Absolutely. Top 10 channels are absolutely fine. And here's the thing. It's about the content, right? So if you put together, it doesn't matter if somebody else says, hey, you know, top 10 channels are tired, or top 10 channels are, you know, they're played out, or whatever it happens to be. You know, if somebody is saying that sort of thing, then don't even listen to it. What you need to do is you need to say, okay, you know what? I think that I can put together a really awesome top 10 video. And I think that I can compete with all the other top 10 videos out there, and that I can grab some of the attention from people that are interested in top 10 type content. So I'm going to go for it. Right. And then just try to make the best top 10 content that you can. And of course, you know, come up with topics that, you know, that people are excited about when it comes to top 10. Make sure you're doing a lot of research before you put your videos together to make sure that the specific topic of your top 10 is something that, you know, that people care about now. Okay, we got that one taken care of. Let me keep on scrolling down. Okay, Traveling Man, Las Vegas, and then we keep it going down. What are your thoughts on blogging superchat Yo Ember videos? I'm not sure what a Yo Ember video is. Hold on. Let's see here. Yo Ember. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Hold on. Yeah, I have no idea what Yo Ember is. I don't know if like that's not something that let's see your top 5 Ember JS. Oh, okay, blogging Ember video. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. I definitely need some clarity on that. I just did a quick Google search to see if I could figure it out, you know, in a couple of clicks, and I'm not sure what Yo Ember is. Since you do follow me on Twitter, if this does get, if your reply in clarity ends up getting lost in the chat here, which I'm going to try not to let it, but if it does, just shoot me a DM on Twitter. Just because, you know, I remember you from Twitter, as long as you're the same dude, and I think you are. Freaking awesome. What's up? Hope you're having a great day. Thank you for the super chat. As we keep on scrolling down the page here, we got Dion Gaming Channel says, hey, Nick, if you're using TubeBuddy for any topic that you're using for your video, well, if the search is low, but everything else is high on TubeBuddy, should you still possibly use that title for your video? Here's what you got to think about when it comes to TubeBuddy or any tool that shows you any score whatsoever. Those tools are all based on YouTube search. Okay. So because of that, if you're targeting YouTube search, then of course you want to get as close to 100 as you can. However, if you are just wanting general discovery on YouTube and you're wanting people to click on your videos wherever it is that they see them, then in that case, take the score itself with a grain of salt and use the keyword explore more to help you come up with ideas and see what things people are interested in, so that when you're publishing content, that wherever it shows up on YouTube, so that you're giving yourself the best opportunity for people to find your content that way based on just the higher interest around the things that you're making videos about. Now, with that said, another thing that I would consider is, taking whatever topic it is that you have and running it through their SEO, their SEO Explorer. Their SEO tool as well. Their SEO optimizer, that's what it's called. It just wasn't coming. But their SEO optimizer, run it through that as well. And when you run it through that, then they're going to make sure that you're including some keywords and things like that, so you can have context, but also so that the people on YouTube that you're wanting to watch your content can clearly and easily see exactly what it is that your video is about, as it pertains to them and things that they would be interested in. Again, take the score itself with a grain of salt unless you are targeting YouTube search, because the whole idea is that you want to use the keyword explorer to find great topics, right? Find great topics that you can prove people are interested in. But it doesn't matter if you're going after something that's really competitive, if you're not just trying to show up in search. If you're just trying to show up in search, then you have to keep those things in mind. But if you're trying to show up on home pages and get people to click on your videos from their homepage or from recommended videos, then take that score with a grain of salt. Let's see here. These are not my books. If you're talking about the books right here, these are not my books. I am not an author. However, these are YouTube books that people that I know on YouTube have put together, people that I trust, people that I know their stuff. And these are books that I recommend because, one, I've read through all of them and they're all just fantastic. But these are all available down in the description below. You can catch them on Amazon. But yeah, I'm not an author. Okay, why do likes keep disappearing? Everything on YouTube gets verified. So because of that, if people are just coming in and they're just clicking stuff but not really watching the video, let's say somebody starts your video, they click on the like button and they leave like immediately, well, YouTube might take that away since the person didn't actually watch any of your content before they gave the like, little things like that. So, sometimes, your metrics are going to go up. Sometimes you're going to notice holes in things. Sometimes you're going to notice things are dropping. Sometimes it's something that YouTube is doing on their end in terms of a purge or something like that. Sometimes it's just because of verification. But there's all kinds of activity on YouTube. Most of it is like legit. Some of it is not. And because of that, any bots that are running around YouTube, stuff like that, they'll take away the activity that those bots create and that sort of thing as well. Next up on our list, we have Poppin' Missouri. Says, thanks for the great content and all the help. The YouTube adventure has been a very fun and exciting ride so far. Road to 300. Love it. Yeah, YouTube is exciting. It's fun. It's exciting. You get to do fun things as well. You get to interact with other content creators. You get to make stuff and publish that stuff, and people all over the world get to interact with that stuff, which means that you get to share any meaningful messages that you have. That means that, you can also use that as like an income source. That means you can use that to change the way people think about things. That means you can, really have a lot of fun with this stuff and the impact that you can make, with YouTube videos. Yeah, Ramadee says, do you get a substantial portion of views every day? It depends who you ask, because all this stuff is relative. For me, I'm super happy with my, daily and my weekly and my monthly view counts on my YouTube channel. So, because of that, it's fine. It's fine for me. It creates a, great, experience for me. So because of that, it's more actually than what I actually need in terms of my view counts, but super happy to have it. So here, Painter in London says, YouTube only shows my videos if I pay them. I did this experiment. I hired a number of days later. I stopped and I've not received visits. Okay, let me explain why. So the reason that you're not getting visits, so first, YouTube does not only show your videos if you pay. YouTube shows your videos when people respond positively to what it is that you're doing. So because of that, what that means is if you are running ads for your videos, but you haven't yet learned how to get an organic response on YouTube, and what I mean by organic response is to where you publish content and naturally people on YouTube see it and they click on it because they want to see your content, because you had a compelling title, you had a compelling thumbnail, the topic itself was something that was interesting. So you made people want to click on that video because they found it interesting. And then once they click on that video, you give them a great experience through the video content. Maybe they watch another video, something like that. Maybe they subscribe to your channel, give it a thumbs up, comment, all the stuff that we want as YouTube content creators. Well, the thing is if you haven't learned how to do that part yet, and then you throw a bunch of money at your YouTube channel, as soon as you stop throwing money at your YouTube channel, then that traffic is just going to dry up because you still haven't learned how to get people to click, how to make content that people enjoy, all of that stuff. So, fortunately, there isn't any like shortcuts in terms of, just throwing money at it. If you could, then, it would be really easy to game this entire thing to really, blow up channels and stuff like that. But because, you can't shortcut the organic side of YouTube, the only way, if your content, isn't great, the only way that you're going to be able to just keep moving forward is if you just keep spending money, but that's going to eventually drive you into a hole, because those people that you are bringing in for the ads that you spend, if you can't get them to click naturally when your videos show up on their homepage being recommended next to other pieces of content, then you are going to end up taking a loss, because you're only gonna be living by the ad money that you're spending. So because of that, I recommend that you just stop with ads right now, and that you focus on learning how to get an organic response on YouTube, and that you spend the time putting in that work, so that if you do decide to run ads in the future, when the ads are turned off, then you can still get people to click on what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down through this list. So if you're just joining, I do want to let you know that Nimmin Live, if you just go to nimminlivepodcast.com, that Nimmin Live is now available as a podcast, as an audio only experience. Now keep in mind, literally I'm just downloading the audio and uploading it up there. So I'm not like reformatting anything, nothing like that. But I've gotten tons of feedback where people say that they, listen to my stuff while they are doing other things. So I'm like, hey, maybe we can save people some data, things like that, and just make it available, on the podcast platforms as well. So just as a heads up, that is also available right now. I think it's on like Google Podcasts and Apple, and it might be on Spotify. I'm not sure, but over the course of the week, it'll be coming out onto more things. Scarlett Cherie says, how long did it take me to get to 100,000 subscribers? It was a while. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was, it was a while. It was not something that happened, overnight or fast or, anything like that. Once I did start picking up momentum and I started going on the radar, so to speak, the channel started growing rapidly from there. But, it took a while to get that ball rolling. What's up, Heidi? Hope you're doing great. Chatty Cathy, what's up? Hope that you are also doing fantastic. So, okay, so I'm going to hop into the forum here for the people that put their questions in the forum, so we can do this in an organized way here. Now, keep in mind, I'm also going to be jumping back into the chat for questions as well, because I know people are coming into here. Some people are just waking up or just getting in front of a computer or whatever, and they, miss the opportunity to, come in here and, put their question in the forum. So because of that, I'll be pulling them out of the comments as well, but I like to prioritize the forum when possible, because, that's just the most orderly way to, keep it, keep everything going, and also to, make sure that, nobody feels excluded or anything like that. Roberto Blake in the house. What's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Roberto is going to be going live with Daryl after the live stream today. So we'll be dropping links to that, later here in the live stream, but super pumped for that to be going down as well. So he says he's going to get me to write a book. Don't worry. Oh, love it. Love it. That's so good. Freaking awesome. Thank you for the super chat there. Really appreciate it a lot. Thank you for that. Let's see here. Book Bar Bros Star Wars channel says, does YouTube treat lives from StreamYard differently than regular uploads after the live is complete in terms of search? No. Everything, in terms of search or just in terms of how the live stream does after the stream is complete comes down to how people experience the replay. Like if we break everything on YouTube down to a core idea, that idea comes down to, it doesn't matter what you upload. It doesn't matter if it's a community post. It doesn't matter if it's a YouTube video. It doesn't matter if it's a short. It doesn't matter if it's a live stream. It doesn't matter if it's a story. Like whatever it is that you're putting on YouTube, the more that people respond positively to that content, the more that content is going to get surfaced on the platform. The less that people respond positively to that content, the less it's going to get surfaced on the platform. So, you know, that's why I'm always pushing people to be like, hey, make sure you're paying attention to your audience retention reports. Make sure you're paying really close attention to how people are clicking on what it is that you're doing. Make sure that, you know, you're doing all these things, because those are the things that are, you know, that are actually going to move the needle for you, because those are the things that generate a response, right? If you can learn how to get people to click, that's a response. If you can learn how to get people to watch your video for more than 30 seconds, that's a response. If you can learn how to get people to watch your videos for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it happens to be, those are also responses. So because of that, you know, just make sure with everything it is that you're doing, when you're writing titles, when you're making thumbnails, when you're putting your content together, that you have that in mind, and that you think to yourself, you know what, if this isn't in alignment with my viewers, then right out of the gate, this video might not do well. If this video is in alignment, it just isn't compelling in any way, then there's a really good chance that this video isn't going to do well, and you're just going to have to, you know, own that. But if you can see that and you're like, you know what, this isn't that, you know, I could do better, then do better. And then you'll notice the results that you're getting are also going to be better as well. Let's see here. Gillian Barry says, I'm 4 months in at 1.3 thousand subscribers. Do you think this is good? I do. So Gillian, just as heads up, when I first started YouTube, I mean, granted, we didn't have the information out there, you know, that we have now in terms of all the YouTube help channels and stuff. At the time, it was just like Daryl Leaves and Tim Schmoyer. And Tim was at Real SEO, I believe, at that time. But basically, for me, it took me 5 months to get my first 150 subscribers on YouTube. So like for me, in my channel, like if you were to compare yours to mine, like you're doing way better than I did when I first started my YouTube channel. So just as a heads up on that, you're doing great. Okay. So another thing I want to tell you as well is that, you know, there's a lot of people that start YouTube channels and it takes them a year to get 100 subscribers. It takes them, you know, a year to get 1,000 subscribers. So, you know, because of that, you know, I just want to let you know that you're doing great. So, you know, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying to, you know, figure out how to improve, keep paying really close attention. Like if you're able to get 1,000 people to subscribe, you're going to easily be able to get 100,000 people. It's just filling in the time between now and, you know, in that point in time, filling in the time and the content, right, to make it happen. But you're off to a great start. Let's see here. Journey with Amit.
Super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, so I'm going to hop back into the forum here, and we will go ahead and get rolling on that. So Painting with Yvette is the YouTube channel, and the type of channel is Teaching Bob Ross Painting. Super cool. Painting happy little trees. painting happy trees. I don't know if they're little, but painting happy trees. Love it. Says that the goal of the channel is to teach others that they really can learn to paint right along with me. And the question says, when a company wants to send me free product to review on my channel, do I have to put a checkbox? The video contains paid promotion like product placement, sponsorship, or endorsement. I am not paid. It is free to test and give my opinion. Is it a good idea to accept these kinds of offers? One, let's unpack this a little bit. So the very first thing is in terms of, is it worth it? If you were going to go pay for the paints that you're using, and all you have to do in your video is mention that you're using, you know, that paint from, you know, that company or whatever, and it saved you a bunch of money on paints that you had to buy, then in that case, sure, it's worth it, right? But if you know, they're sending them to you and then you have this obligation where it's like, you know what, I don't really like these paints, but I'm going to paint them anyway because I have this obligation, to where it becomes like a negative thing, then in that case, you know, it wouldn't be worth it and you wouldn't want to, you know, continue down that path. But when it comes to getting free stuff, absolutely, you know, your YouTube channel is great for that. However, just make sure that the stuff that you are bringing awareness to is quality stuff. And the reason that's important, and everybody pay really close attention to this, when you are promoting things as an affiliate, or you're just bringing attention to things, you know, through sponsors or whatever it happens to be, make sure that you are working with companies, or that you're promoting things that you truly believe in and that you truly think is quality. The reason this is important is because, one, you know, you just want to have that credibility, but two, if somebody watches your content and they end up making a purchase based on your recommendation, and the thing that they purchased is not something that, you know, it didn't turn out like you said, then in that case, they're not going to take your recommendation again. So because of that, the better that you can, you know, treat your audience and make sure that the the companies that you're working with are in alignment in terms of quality and the experience that your audience is going to have, and it's something that they actually need, then in that case, when you recommend something and they see how awesome it is, then everything that you recommend, they're going to be like, oh yeah, this is great. Yeah. So what else do you got? Right. So, because of that, just make sure that, that you stand behind, whatever paints it is that they are sending you, if you are going to recommend them in your video. Now let's talk about the other part. If a company sends you something, you do have to put that checkbox there. And even though they gave it to you for free, if they are like, they gave it to you for free, hoping that you'll make a video with it, or with the agreement that you're going to make a video with it, therefore that free thing is also looked at as payment. Because if you were to walk into a store, like this is just my perception of why, but if you were to walk into a store and just take some paint, then in that case, it'd be theft. So since they're giving it to you, then, and it's a company giving it to you, then all of a sudden you are, taking that paint as payment, even though they're not giving you actual cash. So, so because of that, you absolutely have to make sure that you are marking that checkbox. Great question. Let's see here. So as we keep on going really quick, I just want to invite you to give this stream a thumbs up. Just, if you're enjoying the content so far, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. And I'm going to hit this real quick too while I'm drinking coffee.
If you're enjoying the show, remember to give it a thumbs up and share it with a friend right now.
All right. So Roberto says that it took Mr. Beast 100 videos to get 780 subscribers. It took him 460 videos to get 10,000 subscribers. Now he's at like millions and millions and millions. Okay, let's see here. Greetings from New Zealand. Does the length of a channel's name matter? Does it matter if it's a 2-word name or a 3-word name, as long as it's easy for the audience to remember? That's the key. As long as it's easy for the audience to remember, that's all that matters. So, if you were to take out the width of your name as an example, if people can remember Journey Emit, then that's fine. If they can remember Journey with Emit, then that's fine too. It's just the idea is that you want it easy for people. Like, okay, if you and me were sitting down having coffee, Emit, if you and me were sitting down having coffee and I'm like, oh man, there's this YouTube channel. He makes really awesome stuff. His channel's Journey with Emit. You got to check this out as soon as you get home. As a matter of fact, just pull it up on your phone right now. It's easy to remember. But if you had like, Journey with Emit 8874296, then all of a sudden your name becomes difficult to remember. So because of that, just for people being able to talk about your YouTube channel and easily find it based on what it is that you say, having your name, something that's easy to remember is a win. Other things to think about when you are naming your YouTube channel is to make sure that you're saying it out loud, because, as your channel goes along, there's a really good chance you might end up on podcasts and on other people's live streams and things like that. So when you say your YouTube channel name, you want people to easily be able to pull that up on their phone or type it into YouTube or whatever it happens to be so they can find you easily. So when you're coming up with a name for your channel, make sure that in addition to, it being, on point with whatever branding it is that you're trying to do, also make sure that it's something to where if you say it out loud, that it's easy to understand and there's no confusion in terms of Journey to Emit. You would have to say, if your channel is Journey to Emit, you'd have to say, if I was like, hey, come on my live stream. And I'm like, hey, Emit, what's your YouTube channel? And you're like, Journey to Emit. Then you would have to say, and it's T-O, not the number 2. Or if it was the number 2, you'd have to say it's the number 2, not T-O. Or if you just did, the 2 lines, then you'd have to, say that as well, whatever it ended up being. So you just want to make it easy on yourself and make it easy for people to understand. And that's really part of YouTube in general, is just making things as easy as possible for people. Easier you make it, the better off you're going to be. The Bunny Dojo, Rabbit Care, and Bun Fun, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Okay, why do you need 1,000 subs to go live? The reason that you need 1,000 subs to go live is because there's a lot of shady people out there that do a lot of shady things. So because of that, this creates a barrier of sorts between YouTube and those shady people. However, you can go live on YouTube using third-party apps. You just can't do it directly from YouTube itself. Or actually, you can't do it directly from the mobile app itself. Let's see here as we keep on going through the list here. We've got painting with, we got painting with Yvette already. Let me go to the next one. Says Ruditude Productions says the type of channels, stop motion and skits, but I do a lot of Spider-Man themes, including one about you. Just got to upload it. Goal of the channel says my goal is to have fun making dumb skits and making and maybe getting to meet some of my favorite creators. The question: Hey, Nick, thank you for answering a ton of questions over the past few weeks. My question this time is about copyright. So I watched this guy who makes really funny plushy series, and I'm making one of my own, but I want to know if I can get a copyright strike if I were to reference his series, like mentioning a scene in his series. Thank you so much. Have a great day and wear a seatbelt for safety purposes. Oh, I love the porpoise part. Okay, so when it comes to making the reference to another channel, that's where in most cases, and of course, I'm not a lawyer, I got to make that disclaimer, but basically this is where, you know, because you are just having that as like an insert in your video and you're making the reference to them, you know, keep it short, of course, you don't want to spend too much time on it, but because you are making the reference directly to them, then it's, you know, like I wouldn't worry about it is what I'm saying. However, one thing that would be cool is to reach out to the content creator that you're going to have in there and just, you know, ask their permission. Say, hey, I'm going to be, you know, doing this and I just want to reference this part of your video because I think it's cool or whatever. So, you know, reference that and just, you know, see if you can get confirmation from them or an okay for them for that because they're going to see it anyway. So, you know, like YouTube channels, after you know, kind of get going a little bit, you're going to see like a copyright center in your YouTube channel and you can see when people use your content anyway. So because of that, you know, just reaching out to them would kind of put you on their radar and let them know, hey, when you see that in there, you know, just be a little bit patient with me because, or just don't, you know, hit that one, you know, for a copyright because, you know, because they're giving you permission for it. Okay. So let's see here. Next up on the list, this is a really great question. Penny's Place says, how to answer all the comments from subscribers. So on my channel, we get a lot of comments here and we try to make sure that every comment is answered. There's help with that. And basically what you want to do, let me just give you some tips here on optimizing your workflow when it comes to answering comments. So depending on the comments that you're getting, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to be repeating over time. So because of that, there are apps that you can get. Like for example, if you're on an iPhone, I believe it's called Canned, and I'm going to show you a screenshot of it right here so you can see exactly what it is. They also have alternatives on Android, but I'm not sure what they are off the top of my head. But if you look at Canned, if I can find it here, I know it's in here. I don't know where it is. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Anyway, it's called Canned. I thought I was going to show you the icon. Ah, there it is. So if you look down here at the very bottom, you're going to see one that says Canned. It's right next to Air Visual there, right next to Time Buddy. And with those, basically with Canned, what it is it's canned responses, okay? So for example, if you have things that people commonly ask you, then you can go ahead and build those canned responses in. And then all you have to do is just, you know, it goes directly into your keyboard. So you tap a little option in your keyboard and then you can just tap on your reply to that answer. You can send people to other videos, send them to playlists, whatever you want. You can fill this thing out as long as you want. But then that way you can just go through and you don't have to spend tons of time typing things when you start noticing common things coming through. And that really can help speed up your workflow. You can also do this inside of YouTube partially because they have their AI make some automatic comments as well if you're on a computer. And in addition to that, if you're a TubeBuddy user, TubeBuddy also has a canned comment area also, to where you can also add, you know, the canned comments and things like that. However, theirs does not integrate with the keyboard. So because of that, I do recommend that you find one that integrates with the keyboard, just because it helps a ton when it comes to your workflow. Another thing that can be beneficial there when it comes to answering comments is just blocking out time for it. So if there's things that you do to where you can have a little bit of space to interact with the community, let's say that you know, if it's coffee time or breakfast time or, you know, time, you know, anything else, anywhere else that you have some downtime, you know, if you can just pull your phone out then, and you can use the YouTube Creator Studio app as well, because inside of the YouTube Creator Studio app, who here as a YouTuber does not have the YouTube Creator Studio app installed? The one that looks like this, the gear icon right up here in this corner, YT Studio. Who here does not have that app installed? So just as a heads up, with that particular app, just in case you do not, let me scroll down the page here. Just in case you do not have that app installed, I want to let you know that it curates all of your comments into like one comment feed. So it makes answering comments super efficient. So combining this with the canned or whatever canned response keyboard that you use really helps you speed up your workflow when it comes to answering comments on your YouTube channel. And this gets increasingly more important as your channel grows, you start having more activity and all of that. Yalad Mitch says, how to fix my laptop when it won't turn on. It's not a YouTube question, but I need help. I'm not sure. So if it won't turn on, I'm definitely not the person for that one. I'm not that great when it comes to that kind of tech. So I definitely can't help you with that one, unfortunately. Okay, so next up here, I'm going to grab another one here out of the form, and we have Trail of the Wild Wild. And Trail of the Wild Wild says they do wildlife education-based channel, and the goal of the channel is to teach as many people about wildlife in a fun and interactive way. How many people here are into wildlife? You just like to, kind of go out into nature and just kind of see, the world and what's going on, in the wildlife. What are animals doing out there? How many of you like to see that? How many are into that kind of thing? The goal of the channel is to teach many people about wildlife. And the question, I'm working on producing more professional videos, and making my channel more professional looking. How can I make my channel more interactive with playlists, community posts, etc.? So when it comes to making your channel, okay, so we got a few people in here that's into the wildlife, that's into the wildlife world. That's good. So on the making the professional videos and making your channel more professional looking, how do you make your channel more interactive with playlists, community posts, etc.? So what you want to do is you want to think about how people are going to flow through your content. I actually just had this conversation with a friend of mine yesterday. We were talking about, scheduling content, things like that. I brought to his attention my iPad planner that I have. And with that, and you can just, you can screenshot it on an iPad if you want, or, screenshot a calendar and just do it, manually if you want in Photoshop or something. But basically one thing that I do when I'm planning my content out is I will literally, have the dates, in my calendar. And then I will say, this is the video that I'm publishing here, video that I'm publishing here, video that I'm publishing here. And then I'll literally just draw lines on my iPad on this calendar. I'll draw lines going from, like this video is going to link to this video in the end screen in the pinned comment. This video is going to link to this video. This video is going to link to this video. So I can just get an overview of where it is that I'm going to be trying to send people based on that particular video and the interest that the people that are watching that video might have. And by doing that, that helps me create that flow to where when you get to the end of one of my videos, to where I'm like, hey, if you want to learn how to do this thing next, then, click into this playlist right here, or this video right here, then that has been, it's a preemptive thing that I put together by drawing out exactly, what it is that I want to link to next, or what it is that I want you to do next based on the things that you're interested in. And then of course I make sure that I add a best for viewer as well, because YouTube is smarter than I am when it comes to knowing what you want to watch next. So because of that, I recommend one, and then I have that best for viewer. But in addition to that, when you are trying to link everything up, making your channel professional looking, one thing that is beneficial, of course, is having a professional looking channel art. And then in addition to that, you categorize your content into playlists based on the things that people come to your YouTube channel for. And you put those playlists as sections on your YouTube channel page. And by doing that, what you're doing is you're making it easy for people to find the content that they care about on your YouTube channel. When it comes to your community feed, then one thing you can do there is, of course, you can make sure that you are sharing links to videos in there, links to playlists, that you're asking your community questions, that you are putting polls in there, that you're posting images in there, things that you might be working on that might be of interest to your audience, that kind of stuff. But that's how you do that sort of thing. But the idea is that you think of, on the content side, what are people going to watch next, right? How can I, help people flow through the content that they care about? And then when it comes to your community post, you want to think about, how can I just interact with the people that, that are involved with my stuff? How can I interact with them, through the community feed or through stories? And then you, start working on that. All right. So let's see here. Next up on our list, we have, and I'm going to pull this one from the chat. Met blogging to embed videos. Is it worth the time? Okay. Sorry about that, Jimmy. So when it comes to blogging to embed videos, is it worth the time? If you have a high traffic vlog, sure. If you're good at search engine optimization, sure. Because what's going to happen is, if you put out videos that people respond to positively, YouTube is going to show your videos in search. As long as you're optimizing for search, they're going to show your videos in search. And then if your video gets a good response when people are looking for it in Google as well, and other textual search engines that have video results, then in that case, those will end up staying there as well. So then you now have two search-based, ways that people are coming into your YouTube channel. And then if you have a blog and you stay active on that blog and you over time you grow that blog just like you're growing your YouTube channel to where it starts becoming its own, traffic as well, then in that case, what you do is you start having these additional pages on, the front page of Google and the front page of Bing and, everything else, to where as people are looking for the type of content that you make, they can land on the textual stuff if they skipped over the videos. And then you also have that embedded video in there as well, to where they can still come over to your YouTube channel. And one quick tip that I want to give you is if you are, and I'm going to share the screen here in just a second so I can show you this. If you are somebody that is, let's see here. If you are somebody that is going to add your videos to your blog, one thing that I recommend is the Google developers. If you just Google for Google developers subscribe button, one thing that you are going to run into is a screen that looks like this. Let's see. There we go. Let me stretch this out a little bit just so I can make sure that you can see everything okay. So basically, you're going to run into a screen that looks like this. And when you're on this screen, my magnifying glass isn't working. Oh, there we go. But basically, when you run into this screen, what you're going to see is they're going to allow you through an embed code to actually embed a subscribe button on your blog as well. And all you have to do here, and I'm just going to show you how this works really quick. All you have to do is you just change this to your channel name, right? And then when you change it to your channel name, it's going to show this down here, and you tell them what type of layout that you want. And then let's just say it's a dark mode if you have a darker theme. We'll change it back to light so it blends with this. And then, of course, you can have it if they show your subscriber count or not. And then all you have to do for your blog is you can just have this as part of, like a default template that you use to where you paste this underneath your video with a little call to action reminding people to subscribe. Or you can put this in your sidebar or whatever it is. But you can, if you just look for Google Developers subscribe button, then it will take you to this page where you can, add that to your add that to what it is that you're doing as well, for the sake of also generating subscribers as well as views directly from your blog as well. So hopefully that was helpful. Let's see here. As we keep on going through the list, we got Rodsters TV.
Super
says, hey, Nick, what's up, Rod? Says, could you provide some insights as why a video doesn't get as many views with same CTR retention as another one, like 200 views versus 1,300? Topic. So the topic matters, how people engage with that content matters, where you're getting the traffic from matters. So for example, let's say that you have one video that the way that you optimize that video and the place that people responded to that video most was YouTube search. Well, that one might be something that people don't search for that much, but they still search for it. So then you end up getting 200 views. But let's say that you published another piece of content and that one has higher browse traffic or suggested traffic going to it. And because of that one, just more people are seeing it. And then more people are clicking on it that way and coming in. And then you get the 1,300 views from there, right? So it just depends on exactly where the traffic is coming from, how long people are watching from the different traffic sources. And also other things, are people sharing one video where they're not sharing the other? Once people get to the end of one video, what are they doing? Are they leaving that video and going and watching another channel? Or are you trying to funnel them, deeper into your content? If you look at your in-screen information on YouTube, are people actually clicking into your in-screens? If so, on the one video, try to figure out why they're clicking on that one compared to, the other one. But you can, break all of this stuff down inside of your YouTube analytics. But, topic matters, the traffic source matters, how people are interacting with it in terms of sharing it, that kind of thing matters. But those are the types of things that you want to look into that will cause, the same or that will cause similar videos to perform differently. Let's see here. As we keep on going, any tips for travel and wild travel channels? Absolutely. Just think about, you're going to be showing the world because, there's a bunch of stuff within travel by itself. So I'm not sure exactly what it is that you're doing, but, when you're making travel based content, cause I travel too. So, the type of content that I look for when I travel, typically is more informational stuff compared to, just, hey, here I am in India doing this thing. Mine is more like, hey, these are things that you need to check out when you come to India, or when you come to this particular city, or, whatever it happens to be. So, if you're doing travel content, just really make sure that you think about, like am I vlogging my experience and sharing that? And if I am, how can I also add value to the people that are watching the content there, to where it's not about me, but it's also about them? And then if you're just sharing, like the tips on all the different places, that kind of stuff, then in that case, you want to make sure that you're just being very specific on the help that you're giving people. Five places you got to see here, 7 places you got to see here, that type of thing. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list, Kristen's Epic Adventures.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
When you get a chance, go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member after the stream today. Let's see here. As we keep on going down, it says, hey, Nick, if you don't like your channel name and you change it, does it hurt your channel? No, especially if you're just getting started. If you have over 100,000 subscribers, then you lose your actual check mark, and then you can reapply for your check mark. And according to the Google help pages, it takes, I think, around 3 weeks for them to, verify everything again and get that check mark back. But as of right now, if you have over 100,000 subscribers and you change it, then you're going to lose that check mark temporarily, possibly permanently, if they don't reapprove it. So there's that. But also think about, like, if you're just getting started, let's say you don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, then you can just change your name, whatever. And you can make that change. But if you have an established channel, just remember, people are looking for your YouTube channel based on your name. So because of that, trying to keep the same name if possible is important. But if you're just getting the ball rolling, then in that case, feel free to change your name if you need to. Okay, so let's see here. The next one here is going to come out of the form. There's one more here. Top ranked says, tell us about the algorithm in June of 2021. So one thing that I want you to think about when it comes to the YouTube algorithm is that, or YouTube algorithms, is that that the core fundamentals is always the same. And the fundamentals are, if people respond positively to what it is that you're doing, YouTube's going to show your content to more people. If they don't, and other people are getting a better response than you with the type of content that you make, then they're going to get seen more. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you remove, like, okay, how can I say this? Okay, so when it comes to YouTube, everybody is always, like algorithm, right? It sounds smart, right? It sounds smart, it sounds great and all that. But at the end of the day, the thing that really matters on YouTube is your content. So what you should be thinking about, instead of, hey, can you tell us about the algorithm June 2021? What you should be thinking about is, hey, can you give me any tips on how to make better content for the people that are, that are watching my videos, or how any, basic ideas or any tips that you have for keeping people watching for a longer period of time, or to help people, enjoy my content more, like that kind of thing, is a much better question than, then can you tell me about the algorithm in 2021? Because when it comes to YouTube's algorithm, like I said before, everything is based on the response. So if you get a good response from people because you make good content, then YouTube has no choice. I mean, they have a choice, but I mean, like, they're going to show your content to people because you're helping YouTube serve their goals, which is keeping people on the platform so that they can keep them coming back to the platform because they're having a great experience. And they can also keep showing ads to people and, because eventually they'll leave your video and go watch somebody else's video and so on. So what they want is they want you to give a great experience to their viewers so that they'll keep coming back to YouTube and they'll stay on YouTube longer when they do. So in a nutshell, when it comes to the YouTube algorithm, instead of thinking of it from the perspective of, like, hey, is there something that I can do to game it? And I'm not saying that that's the question that you're asking, but, I know a lot of people think that way. But instead of thinking like, hey, is there anything that I can do to kind of game the algorithm to kind of help it, work in my favor or anything like that? One of the things that YouTube says in the YouTube Creator Academy is, instead of worrying about what the algorithm likes, think about what your audience likes instead. If you do that and you make that content and people watch, the algorithm will follow. Okay. So the algorithm follows the audience. The algorithm follows the humans that are on YouTube interacting with content. So if you get that positive response from people, they're clicking on your stuff, they're watching it, they're sharing it with friends, they're adding it to playlists, they're liking it, they're commenting, they're doing all the stuff, then your videos are going to do great. If they're not, and you haven't gotten yourself to that competitive, level yet in terms of, your content performing well on the platform, then in that case, your content's not going to do well until, one, YouTube finds that right audience for you in terms of they show it to the right people and they respond positively, or until you get to the point of making content that is good enough or competitive enough for YouTube, for people to respond to it better, which then in turn causes YouTube to show it to more people. So that's what's going on with the YouTube, with the YouTube algorithms. Let's see here. As we keep on going through the list, you are not too late. Welcome to the live stream today. So next up on our list here, as I keep going down, we have Skip View says, a hater bought 50 downvotes and knocked my video out of high-ranking keywords. Does YouTube see that and correct it, or is it doomed forever? Yeah, YouTube will end up correcting that. If they bought downvotes, 150 shouldn't even do that much, depending on how many likes that you got. But if you are if you had that happen and it caused some type of negative reaction on YouTube in some way, then in that case, eventually they will end up, detecting that happened, and you should be okay once they detect that. So it's not something that's gone forever, but that is definitely something that people do, unfortunately. But it's not going to be something that's going to impact you long term. So instead of focusing on that, I would just focus on your next video, just kind of have that one behind you and just kind of let it do its own thing as YouTube figures it out, or as they detect it, then they'll be able to do that. I would also go on the YouTube creator forum and I would plead your case there. But one thing to keep in mind is it's going to be really difficult for you unless you have documentation to prove to them that that your friend bought downvotes. But if they're your friends, hey, they send you an email, hey dude, I just bought a bunch of downvotes for your stuff, and then you notice it on your YouTube channel and you can sync all that up, then I would plead my case there in the YouTube community forums to see if you can get some help from them and bring it to their attention. The Bunny Dojo.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
When you get a chance, go to nimminvip.com. That is our members only Facebook group. It'll redirect you to Facebook. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify that you are a member after 2 days stream. Okay, next up on our list, we are going to pull this one from the forum over here as well. And on this one, we have Meme Piano. Meme Piano says they upload 1 time per week or more. They do memes on piano. And the goal of the channel is to get 1,000 subscribers. And the question, are shorts worth it? They seem to get views, but not as much subs. So if shorts are worth it or not really comes down to, the effort that you put into shorts and the results that you get out of the shorts and what it is that you're trying to accomplish with your channel. So if you can use shorts as a quick hit to have an influx of viewers because they respond positively to your short, and those people, based on the specific short that you made, would also be a good candidate to watch your long form content, then absolutely. But if you make content about pianos over here and you want people to watch that content, but then you make a short about something that's not really related to that in any way, then the people that are going to interact with that content that might be presented to your video later are not going to respond to it. And therefore, that would make that effort useless, or not necessarily useless, but not as worthwhile as if you were to do something that was in alignment with with your long form content. As we keep on going down the list here, what is retention metric percentage of video or minutes? So retention, you actually get both. So you get your percentage viewed and you get your total minutes watched. And you also have your absolute retention, which is how people are responding to your videos specifically second by second. And then you also have relative audience retention, which is how people are responding to your videos compared to videos of similar length on the platform. So, there's a lot of different things within audience retention, apparently. But you have your percentage viewed, you have your minutes viewed, and then you also have your absolute retention and your relative audience retention as well. Let's see here. Next up on our list, we're going to pull this one from the form, and then we will get back into the chat as well. So this one is from Ross Baxter. What's up, Ross? Hope you're doing great. Says they have an art podcast channel. The goal of the channel is to help artists find their dream job by interviewing guests in the film and game industries. Question. Hey, Nick, thanks for always answering my questions. My pleasure. My question today is, most of my growth comes from word of mouth through social media from the guests I invite on the show. Do you think YouTube is designed for long form content? I don't think that it's necessarily designed for long form content. However, people without question consume long form content on YouTube. There's going to be a lot of people in here that came into this live stream right when I started, and they're still going to be here when we split at the end of the live stream today. And this is going to be 3 hours or so, maybe 4. I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. But with this live stream today, this is going to be 3 hours. People are going to hang out here. So, people absolutely consume long form content. Some of the most successful podcasts on YouTube, because you do podcast content, some of the most successful podcasts on YouTube are long form, podcasts. So, because of that, they are proof that people definitely consume long form content on YouTube as well. But one thing that you might want want to consider is that, you know, one of the popular things in the podcast world that people do is they will make clips of, you know, highlights of their podcast, and they'll have another channel for that. So they use that as a doorway to introduce people to, you know, the general things that you talk about in your podcasts. And then you have your long form channel to where you can link directly to that from the short form channel. So basically, short form, easier to consume, quick bites of information, things that would matter to, you know, individual viewers. And then you have the long form stuff, which is, you know, the actual, you know, real content. Okay, next up, we've got Quizzard.
Super chat.
Sound makes me think of like a wizard. Your channel name makes me think of like a wizard, but like a wizard hat, but with like question marks all over it. That's what I think of when I see your channel name. So like, yo, my channel when I left for school, any advice on bringing it back to life? Absolutely. Go look in your videos list. So if you log into your YouTube analytics right now, one of the things you're going to see is you are going to see the videos that have been bringing in the most traffic over the last 28-day period. So you want to go and look at those. And you also want to look at the content that's performed well on your channel in the past and find the stuff that is, you know, that is causing the most traffic on your channel right now. Even if it's not a lot, find the stuff that people are responding to the most and make follow-up content to that. Just make sure that the new content is in alignment with the stuff that's bringing in the viewers, because they're the most recent people that are interacting with your channel. So you want to make sure that you're thinking of them, because since they are some of the most recent people that are interacting with your channel, some of those people will be some of the first people that will see the new content. And those people that see the content first are going to be the people that will dictate the initial performance of the video when you publish it. Traveling Man Las Vegas says, what's the purpose of bots? So when it comes to bots, when it pertains to YouTube or just anything on the internet, the idea with that is people will usually use them to artificially inflate numbers and that sort of thing. And then they will also use them like basically what people will do is they'll have entire channels that are like bot ran, and those bots just run all over YouTube using the YouTube channel as or using that channel like a user would. And then there's shady services that will sell stuff to YouTubers based on the bot networks that they have. And they'll tell, you know, hey, we got real people, you know, watching your videos and real people doing this, but it's all a sham. So, you know, never, ever under any circumstance buy views or subscribers, anything like that, because it's not legit. So just make sure that you're keeping that sort of thing in mind. But outside of that, there is no real purpose when it comes to bots on YouTube. It's all bad. Okay, so let's see here. Dr. Andrea Ferlin says 3 hours long. Why you're super energetic. How many coffees do you drink in your breakfast, Nick? So for me, it's actually 9 p.m. here where I am. So, you know, I have my one big, I mean, if you see how big this coffee cup is, like if I compare this to the TubeBuddy coffee cup, just so you can see what's going on here, how I stay charged this whole time. So this is the coffee cup that I'm drinking out of. And this is the TubeBuddy coffee cup. So you can see how much, you know, wider this one is. And if I tip it without spilling stuff here, you can also see how much, you know, bigger it is there as well. So basically I just stay juiced up with coffee, but I drink a lot of water pre-stream so that I can, you know, make sure that I'm hydrated, which is something I try to do anyway. But I drink a lot of, water, pre-stream and all that stuff. And I'm also mindful of the food that I eat. And I usually eat a banana or two before my stream as well, because that's also helpful on my temporary energy. So as these streams go on, so like, let's say that I stream for like 4 hours or something, around the 3.5, maybe 4 hour mark, you'll definitely notice an energy curve that kind of goes into the negative a little bit. Just as that steam starts running out. Any advice for a gaming channel? Absolutely. Great question. So when it comes to, thank you for the super chat, by the way. When it comes to gaming channels, one thing that is really advantageous for you is making sure that you're creating doorway content into your channel. So if you have, let's say you're doing like Let's Plays or you're doing longer form content, also create some shorter form, like helpful content that's going to be easier to consume. It's going to help people solve their problems in a specific game, beating specific characters, knowing where all the loot is in a particular game, that kind of stuff. Like make content like that and use that as doorways to bring people in so that you can introduce them to the long form stuff. If you're only making like help content, then just look around, be very active in the communities around the game that you play, because the community by itself will let you know the things that people care about. So be on Reddit, be on Facebook, and be, interacting in like Twitter conversations around the game, that kind of stuff. Follow the games that you play, their companies. follow them on everywhere on social media, read their comments as well, because you're going to see when something happens or when they do something, you're going to see the crowd go wild over it, in positive or negative ways. And that means that's an opportunity there. And you can make content on that. And just based on the fact that people are charged over that at the moment, it shows you that there's more interest in that thing. So when you publish a video on it, then that gives you the opportunity to actually capitalize on those moments when, gaming companies make good and bad decisions around the game. So make sure that you embed yourself in the community so you know what's going on in your world, so to speak, around the content that you make. That can be really advantageous. And in addition to that, one thing that I really recommend to gamers, because as a gamer, like if you're a gamer that's serious enough about gaming to make a YouTube channel about it, like I look at you as like a next level gamer. So like for me, I'm a gamer, but for me, like I play games, like at the end of the night or something like that, or maybe if I have some downtime, I might play some games. But I don't play games so much that I have a YouTube channel about it. So because of that, like I'm here, and then you, as somebody that's making gaming content, you're like up here, like way up here. So because of that, one thing that I would recommend that you do is that you start modifying your perspective when it comes to YouTube and all the stuff involved with being a YouTube content creator. How many gamers are here? If you're a gamer, just give me a hashtag me. But basically, as a gamer, you have a unique skill set in terms of, like pattern recognition and, like when you're always trying to, beat different numbers in the games and things like that, like you're constantly able to push yourself to these new milestones and all these different games, and you're willing to commit the time to it because games are fun. I recommend that you adjust your mindset when it comes to YouTube and you start looking at YouTube through the lens of YouTube being a game. And that means looking in your YouTube analytics, paying really close attention to the way that people are interacting with your content, looking at the numbers of your thumbnails in terms of your click-through rate from all the different traffic sources, look at how you're able to keep people watching, and start literally turning YouTube itself into a game when you're uploading content there as well, just because the way that you view things as a serious gamer is advantageous when it comes to, being able to push yourself when it comes to things like YouTube, because really it's just a process of learning things just like you do in the game. So for example, when let's say that you first start, playing, and I'll just say like Fortnite, because my girlfriend and I play Fortnite a lot. So let's say that when you first drop in on Fortnite the very first time, like, you don't know what's going on if you've never watched any videos about it. But then over time, you learn, hey, I can hit this and I can break down walls and I can go in and I can get whatever. And then I can start, fighting people, all that good stuff. But you start, developing all this knowledge, and then your skill set, you get better at aiming and knowing what guns to use and when and all that stuff. And your skill set start expanding. So what you want to do is you want to take that type of mindset and you want to apply it to your YouTube channel and start looking at your YouTube channel like it's a game. I have a whole video about this idea, but you want to go in, you just want to start looking at YouTube itself like it's a game in addition to the game that you're playing, so that you can start leveraging those skill sets just based on that mindset shift and start looking at YouTube in a different way. In addition to that, we got the doorway stuff. We've got the mindset stuff. In addition to that, you also want to make sure that when you are putting your titles together, that you're not using stuff like, GTA 5 gameplay, right? You want to make sure that you have compelling stuff attached to that, because there's a million videos on YouTube, probably not a million, but there's a lot of videos on YouTube around GTA 5 gameplay or whatever game it is that you're playing gameplay, or, tips or, tricks or, that kind of stuff. So because of that, you really want to make sure that you are really leaning on the compelling side. So it's like, hey, I'm going to have GTA 5 in the title, or Fortnite in the title, or Call of Duty in the title, or whatever it is that you're playing. But I also need to think from the gamer's perspective. I got to think, okay, if a gamer sees this on their homepage, what about this thumbnail and title combination and the overall topic of this video? What about these is going to compel that person to click on it? Just GTA 5 walkthrough or GTA 5 gameplay, unless you're already like a popular channel, that's usually not enough. So because of that, you need to do something compelling. You got to think outside of the box. Other things that people do in the gaming world is they'll like handicap themselves as well, to where it's like, hey, I'm going to do this with like, I'm going to win Fortnite with no guns, or I'm going to win, I'm going to play GTA 5 and I'm going to, try to, you know, make it through the entire game with like one car, or this entire, you know, online session with like one car without the, you know, without the car going bad or whatever it happens to be. But basically you just create these handicaps. So then that way it makes it interesting. So you're not just playing the game, you're actually, you know, trying to challenge yourself to do something. And since you're challenging yourself to do a specific thing, then it makes it a lot more interesting to other people, because then they get to watch to see if you can actually pull off the challenge or not. So, you know, think of things like that when it comes to making your gaming content. Let's see here as we keep on going down the list. We've got, I'm jumping back into the forum for this one. We have Beanie Draws. What's up, my man? Says, let's see here. The type of channel is showing folks how to draw dinosaurs. The goal of the channel, to inspire others to draw more, or at least give something cool to watch. So Beanie, just a heads up, and I think you know this already, but I actually got Procreate on my iPad because of Beanie, and I draw from time to time in my Procreate. So you inspired me to draw more, at least. I'm sure you're the same thing with a bunch of other people, but you inspired me to draw more too. But let's see here. The question is, I was just watching D and Daniel doing some best practices, and they were talking about including links to new videos, preferably above the fold. I remember a few years ago, re-indexing metadata was a thing that would happen if you changed your description if the video was already performing well. Is this still a thing that happens in 2021? And does adding a link to another video above the fold of an already performing video mess with the SEO and theoretical rankings? Or is it not really a big deal anymore? Learning to adapt to the changes, always learning. So I'm not a humongous fan of putting things above the fold necessarily, just because when you put things above the fold, unless it's, you know, like a sponsor link or something like that, if you put a link to another video above the fold, then in that case, you know, that particular video could end up damaging the retention of the current video if enough people go over there. Luckily, on YouTube, a majority of the traffic, a majority of the watch time it happens on mobile devices. So most people aren't even going to see that anyway. So, you know, that top part of your description is mainly used for YouTube to have context for your video. That's what they say in the Creator Academy. And they also recommend that you use 1 to 2 paragraphs in that. And if you use 1 to 2 paragraphs, then you're not even going to have space for that, you know, offsite link. So, or not offsite link, but just linking to that other video if you're going by best practices according to YouTube. However, if you have a video that's high performing, your people are loving it, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do some videos, and I'm definitely going to drive some people into this because it's a proven performer, then by all means, you know, go ahead and do it. But in terms of like re-indexing, that's not something that's going to happen with your content. So one of the things that people also think is that, you know, if you change your title, it re-indexes your video. But the idea with changing your title is that people just respond to different titles in different ways. And therefore, based on the response change, then YouTube is going to treat that video differently based on how it is that people are responding to that video. So because of that, you know, when it comes to titles, those can make an immediate impact. Same with your thumbnails. But when it comes to your description, you're fine. Going in there and changing your descriptions if you want to. But I would just be really mindful in making sure that you're very selective of the videos that you're sending people to. And in addition to that, I wouldn't send them to a video if you're going to do that. If you're going to use that real estate for that reason, you know, above the fold, I would send them into a playlist instead of just sending them to a video. So then that way, even if you sacrifice the first video, the people that are going over, they're still staying on your channel, and then they might also watch additional pieces of content from your channel from that. So if you are going to use that, I wouldn't do it with with one video. I would do it with a playlist of videos. Let's see here as we keep on going down the list. Hopefully that answered your question there, Beanie. As we keep on going through the list, says Wisco Tid is the next question. Says they do gaming, Apex Legends. Goal of the channel is 100 crappy videos. Love it. 2 is to build a community. 3 is to go full time. Question: with me just starting and having only 2 videos, at what point do I start thinking about changing my thumbnail or title on videos that I've already posted? Or even if I had a plethora of videos, how much time should they be uploaded until I start changing those things? So right now, if you are getting feedback from your videos, let's say you have 2 videos on your channel and they're both getting like, you know, 1,000 views. Then in that case, you have enough information right on the line there, but you have enough information to where you can say, okay, you know, people aren't responding to this way that I want them to. So I'm going to go and I'm going to start making some changes. And by doing that, you have enough data behind those videos to know if people respond to them or not. But if you're getting like, you know, 5 views, or you're getting, you know, 10 views or 15 views, something like that, or 100 views, then in that case, there's not enough real data behind that to make a really good decision on that thumbnail and that video topic and, you know, all that. So because of that, what I would recommend is that you let them sit for a while. So if you publish a video and you have traffic coming into that video and it's clearly not performing well, once you have established content, if we use your plethora example, once you have an established channel and you have a bunch of content, you're going to start to identify, or you're going to start to have expectations. You're going to know that most of the time when you publish a video that you're going to get at least a certain amount of views within a certain time limit. And you're also going to know that within that time limit that you're going to have ballpark X amount of impressions. And on your high performing content, you're going to know that ballpark your click-through rate's going to be about X, and you're going to know that your retention is going to be about X, and that the traffic sources that you're pulling the views from for those metrics are going to be what probably browser suggested. And because of that, you're going to start to have a lot more information behind your channel. But right now, since you only have 2 videos, I would just move forward unless if you titled your videos in a way to where after learning more about YouTube, you can look at your title and be like, oh yeah, this is a garbage title. There's no way anybody's going to click on this. And you can identify that yourself, then by all means change the title because you're going to be making a positive improvement, changing it into something better. But if you're like, you know what, maybe, like I think this is a decent title, but it just hasn't got enough impressions yet for YouTube to really know who the right people are for it yet. It's a new channel. So they might not even know really who to show the content to yet. So I'm just going to let them sit. Because, I have faith in these videos. I think that I made them to the best of my ability right now. The title's okay. The thumbnail's okay. So I'm just going to move forward, right? And then just focus on that next content. Work on that 100 crappy videos. Focusing on that is going to help you make that better decision down the road when it comes to your title. Because by the time you get to that 100th video, you should have a lot more information about your channel, the videos that you put out that people respond to more than others, and that kind of stuff. And another quick tip I want to give you as well is if you're just starting your channel and you are wanting to go full time, and I know this is going to sound like you're rushing things, but trust me on this. If you are just starting your YouTube channel, I really recommend that you start thinking of, if you're wanting to go full time, like you are here in this case, I really recommend that you start thinking of monetization now. Go ahead and get a merch together. Like, you see I'm wearing a Spread Shop merch today. And I have Spread Shop, linked in, underneath my videos and all that good stuff. Like, just go ahead and like, even if you don't have the merch shelf, you can still have a link to your merch. So like that sort of thing, depending on the type of content. You're doing gaming content, so you may or may not do an email list depending on how your brain works from a marketing perspective. But if you can think of how you would monetize that email list, then in that case, driving people into an email list for tips and tricks about Apex Legend, that kind of stuff is also something that'd be advantageous, or SMS pushes, depending on, what it is that you are, depending on what it is that you're doing. Let's see here. Next up on the list, we've got how different is it to create content on Facebook Gaming than on YouTube Gaming? I have no idea. I'm not on Facebook Gaming, so I'm not sure. Let's see here. Wash hands. Yep. Keep your hands clean, folks. Let's see here. So if you have a question for me, make sure you put a Q in front of that question. You can go ahead and drop that question now. And I will pull some out of the, I'll pull some chat out of here as well. Okay. So I'm going to, hey, freaking awesome. Yeah, we're not doing any sub for sub stuff here. That does not work to anybody's advantage. When you sub for sub, you actually can destroy channels that way. So you do not want to do that. Plus, that's against the YouTube terms of service. I think you were joking, but I'm just saying in case anybody took that out of context, you definitely do not want to do any type of sub, sub-related activity. You can lose your channel over it because YouTube looks at that as spam. Let's see here. Can you do a video about merch and suggestions on how new channels can go about doing it? Absolutely. I have one on the way. So basically, I made a video about different ways that you can make money. And in that particular video, I mentioned that, if you want to learn more about merch, let me know in the comments and I'll make a step-by-step video, and I'm going to make that video. So that video will be coming up here within the next few weeks on how to create a merch store step-by-step. And there'll also be some like best practice stuff in there as well. So Dylan591 says, I just recently unlocked polls for live chat. Any tips on features YouTube gives your access to, like Applaud? So on Applaud, that's an experimental beta thing right now, so not everybody has it. But when you unlock like live chat polls and things like that, just use the stuff that they give you, and just make sure that you use it in ways that is a good fit for in ways that's a good fit for your audience. So for example, what he means by here is I'm going to just drop this poll in here right now. Let's see here. How much do you learn during this stream? And we're just going to do this. Hardly anything and a ton. And then here, would prefer not to answer. So I'm going to drop that in here really quick. And this is the example of what they're talking about there. So you can see right up here at the very top of the chat where it has the poll. And then I just put, just for fun, how much you learn here during this live stream. But I'm actually going to change that as a matter of fact. And we are going to change that to, okay, it looks like we got to prefer not to answer. That's good. Hardly anything at 7%, 90% on the a ton. So, okay, that makes me feel good. That 7% makes me a little nervous. So that one's okay, but it's great because it's anonymous. Actually, I can see all the channels that are answering here. So that's a bonus. So all you hardly anythings, I actually get, oh my gosh, wow, I'm surprised you said hardly anything. No, I'm just kidding. I can't see the people that did the poll. All right. So let's see here. So next up on our list, we have any advice on growing a meditation channel? Yeah. As somebody who meditates, I'm going to give you some information here. So one thing that I would make sure that you consider is just the things that people do when they meditate. So, typically, people will meditate for certain time limits. So, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes. So I'd make content based around all of those things. I would do some that's just meditation music. I would do some that's guided meditation, figure out which ones your audience responds to most. If they respond to guided most, then double down on guided meditation. If they respond to just music better, then I would double down on that. If they respond to just your tips and just you going through it with them, not guided, but, just sharing, just general information about meditation. If that's what they respond to most, then start doing that. But basically experiment with the different types. But if you are doing guided or you're doing music to where you're, taking them through the meditation, then I would be very specific about the times. And I would also make sure that you have playlists on your YouTube channel for each time. So I'd do 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, and an hour, just so you can get that core group out of the way. And then if you start having people request longer, then of course start doing longer in order to tap into everybody that meditates. Or you could be a specialist and say, hey, I'm just making 10-minute meditation videos, and then you'll become the go-to spot for the people that enjoy your content that just do 10-minute sessions, or at least when they do 10-minute sessions, they'll come to you for it. How do you monetize food reviews? Great question. So one, you can monetize with ads. Two, you can monetize with doing like recipe books based on, the stuff that you find that you enjoy, figuring out how to make it. And then like, let's say that you do a review of a Starbucks marshmallow cookie, and you're like, wow, this is fantastic. Then, you could put together a recipe book of your favorite, of the community's favorite videos, the ones they respond to the most on, how to actually make all of those different things. You could sell that. In addition to that, you could do like a crowdfunding thing on like Patreon or through channel memberships once you get to the membership level, if you're not there already, to where you could actually have that as a thing to where it's like, hey, you get to, as a $5 a month channel member, you get to actually help me decide what it is I'm going to review next, that type of thing. So you get people involved that way. Other things that you can do is if you put any sauce or spreads or anything like any rubs, whatever it is on the food that you're eating, then of course you could link out to that stuff via Amazon as an affiliate to them, or directly to the companies as an affiliate. If you are doing anything, because you're doing food reviews, I don't know if you're making it and then reviewing it, or if you're just like going and getting food and eating it and reviewing it that way. But if you're doing anything where you're making it, then in that case, that really opens you up, because then you can get into like merch in terms of, like oven mitts and aprons and, that kind of stuff as well. But, there's a lot of ways, as you can hear, just by working through this right now, in order to monetize that. If you're making it, it's a lot easier than if you're just reviewing it. But if you are reviewing it, other things that you could also do is I would try to look for any type of like gift card affiliate program. So if you are, if you're promoting, let's say like Starbucks or something like that, if you can find, I don't even know if they have a Starbucks gift card affiliate program, but if you can find anybody that does have something like that for any of the food that we're reviewing, then for any of the food reviews that you do that have that sort of, that you can link out to a gift card of some kind, then, that could be the thing that you promote as an affiliate that way too. So I would start, with that kind of stuff. Let's see here. I just unlocked polls, live chat. Any tips on features YouTube gives you access to? Oh, okay, yeah, we already did that one. Let's see here. Oh, you know, one more poll I'm going to do here, just out of curiosity. This is going to help me also. How many subscribers do you have? I'm going to do another poll here really quick. And this poll is going to be under 1,000. Yeah, this one is just going to be to 10,000. And then we're going to do 10,000 to 100,000. And then we are going to do 100,000 plus. And we're just going to drop this poll in here too, just so we can see what's going on here, you know, with you guys as well in terms of your, you know, like where you're at on your YouTube journey. That'll help me cater my information to you better by, you know, having that type of information. So let's see here. As we keep on going down the list here, I'm going to hop into the form here really quick, and we're going to answer another one, and then we're going to hop back into the chat. So when I ask for your question, just make sure you put a Q in front of it before you ask, so I know it's for me and not a side conversation that you're having in the chat. It just helps me identify things easier. But for right now, this question here is coming from the form, and then I'm going to ask you to drop your questions as I am finishing this. So Marcus says, how are you creating those polls? This is inside of YouTube. It's just right down here at the bottom of the live chat. So you have the icon there for the emoji, and then right to the right of that, you see the thing for the polls in the live chat. So right now it looks like 60%, almost 59% under 1,000, 1,000 to 10,000. We're at 29%, 10,000 to 100,000. We're at 8%, and 100,000 plus. We are at 5%. Nice, looking good. Okay, so as we keep on going down this list, we got N6 Games. N6 Games says they upload when they have time. The type of channel is a weirdly personal video game reviews. And the goal of the channel is to reach people who feel like I do about games. That's fantastic. YouTube's great for that. The question is, I'm having trouble deciding on a new channel name. Any advice would be amazing. Any common mistakes to avoid or obvious solutions I can think of. So the very first thing you want to do, because we talked about the channel names earlier, go to YouTube, search, type in Nick Nimmin channel name. Nick Nimmin channel name or Nick Nimmin how to name your YouTube channel. And there's going to be a video that pops up with like resources in there, because I give like website references to where you can check to make sure that your domain name is available, to make sure your name's available across social media and things like that. So go check out that video, because in addition to giving you tips, it's also going to share with you some free resources that you can use to make sure that you can get that name secured, you know, like all over the internet. Let's see here. So one thing that I want to just remind you of, if you just are joining the stream right now, is I want to let you know that this show, Nimmin Live, is now available to listen to in audio format. So it's a delay. So basically, I'm letting them out a week after the actual live stream itself. But these are going to be available for replay, at least for the temporary future. I'm just going to see if it has an impact at all, you know, with you know, people showing up here. If it's like a huge impact and everybody's just like, hey, I'm just going to listen later with headphones on iTunes, then I'll probably stop doing it. But, you know, if people are like, hey, this is cool, I can listen to it here, listen to it there, all that good stuff, then I'll keep going. But basically with that, if you just look for nimminlivepodcast.com, then it's going to pop up a little page, and that little page is going to show you where you can listen to it on your favorite podcasting platform. Right now, I'm still waiting for approval. I think I haven't double checked it today, but I think I'm still waiting for approval from Spotify and a few others, but I'm already in Google Podcasts and Apple Podcasts. So we are there for those. So really quick, Tiny Orchard Quilts hit 25,000 yesterday. Nice work to you. High five and fist bump for crossing 25,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Love it. Love it. I love seeing people making gains. I love seeing people making progress. I love seeing people come in, you know, with the numbers that they're getting from what it is that they're doing. Fantastic. Absolutely love it. So the poll here, I'll show you guys. Do you want to see how to do the poll? I'll show you this really quick here. I can just share the screen. So right down here, I'm going to have to take this off. But you'll see right here on my screen, I don't think I can do my plugin. Yeah, I can't. But you'll see right here, this is the normal chat. Down here in the very bottom, which if you have the player, you're not going to see this. But down here in the very bottom, you have the emojis. And then right next to that, you have this little poll icon. And I just click right into that. And that allows me to pull the poll up. So that is how I am doing that. Okay, so as we keep on moving, did I answer the one out of chat? No, I didn't. Okay, so Dave and Diane throwing caution to the wind is this next question here. They've been on YouTube for less than a year. The type of channel is full-time RVing, and the goal of the channel is fun mainly and to share info. The question, is there an average growth rate for a channel? Probably not. It has taken me 6 months to reach 500 subs and 1 video per week uploaded. So you're doing fine. So of course, I'm sure there's things if we were to look at your channel that you can do to, you know, accelerate, you know, the growth. But at the end of the day, if, in terms of like, you know, average or normal, doesn't exist. So, I mean, of course, averages would exist, you know, but YouTube would have that information. I don't. But when it comes to, you know, like an average growth rate, there's so many different variables. You know, your content choices are going to make the difference. You know, how you actually put your content together is going to make a difference. The niche that you're in is going to make a difference. The presentation that you have when you're actually putting your content together, like if you're on camera, how people are resonating with you is going to make a difference. You know, how things look and sound can make a difference. You know, there's just so many different variables involved. So there isn't really like a, you know, hey, you know, you should be getting X amount of views every single day or every single week type of thing, because it's just so broad, just through all the different types of content on YouTube. Let's see here. Please give me advice on how to pick a niche, because my channel looks like a trash bin full of mixed videos. So since we have here a majority of people, 62% of the people that have taken this poll so far are under 1,000 subscribers. So how many people here just don't know yet? Like I have no idea what niche it is that I'm going to be making my content in. If that's you, just let me know in the chat. Just give me a yes, so I know that it's you. But basically, when you are trying to come up with a niche, it's really important to consider a few things. The very first thing is that YouTube and making videos, like if you're wanting to be a YouTuber, or you're wanting to be a YouTuber as a hobby, putting out content on a regular basis is really important. And that regular basis can be monthly, it can be weekly, it can be several times a week, you know, whatever it is that your cadence is, you still are going to need to do it for, you're still going to need to do it consistently for an extended period of time. So because of that, when it comes to figuring out your niche, it's really important to make sure that you're thinking to yourself, okay, if I'm going to be making content about this for a long period of time, I'm not going to go into a niche just because I think that niche might be popular, or I'm not going to go into that niche just because, you know, I think it looks cool or like whatever. I'm going to make content about stuff that I really like. And the reason I'm going to make content about stuff that I really like and that I'm really into is because I'm going to be making a lot of content about it. People are going to know me from making that type of content, which means I'm going to have a lot of conversations about that thing, and all of that. Like I'm going to get known around the type of content that I make. So I need to make sure that I'm making content around something that I really enjoy, because I'm going to keep doing it for, you know, quite some time. And if you don't do that, then you're going to get content out there and you're going to start getting some momentum, and you're going to hit this threshold to where you're going to be like, you know, I should have done something else because I'm just not happy, you know, doing this or whatever. And I've seen tons of content creators, you know, go through that and end up quitting YouTube and all of that because they just made content for something that they thought that they should do versus something that they really enjoyed. So I would focus on figuring out what you really enjoy. Now, how do you figure that out? So one thing to think about is you want to think about, one, anytime you open up a website or if you open up YouTube, what type of content are you watching all the time? Not sometimes, all the time, to where, you know, like when some of your favorite creators upload content there, you're like, oh, sweet, I've been waiting for them to make another video. Bam, you go in and watch it. And you also want to make sure that you're watching the content for the content, not just the creator, because sometimes you're just watching because of the creator. But in addition to that, you also want to think about, like, when you're talking to your friends or your family, and you're just talking, we'll just say your friends, but let's just say you're talking to your friends about, you know, whatever, like, what are the things that you're always talking about? When you talk about them, they give you energy and you get excited to talk about it. Those are things that you're legitimately interested in. So you should make content around those types of things. You know, when you're at a bookstore or you're at the grocery store and you're at the magazine rack or whatever, like when you're looking around at magazines, like which ones stop you and which ones make you pick them up and which ones are you always looking at because you're interested in that topic. Same thing with the books that you're reading. Are you reading a bunch of self-help books? Are you reading a bunch of cooking books? Are you reading a bunch of crafting books? You're reading a bunch of, you know, books based on, you know, a bunch of other things like history books, whatever. Like, what is it that you are consuming a lot of? Because those are the types of things that you're interested in, and you should be making content around those things that you're interested in. Okay. So that's what you want to go for. Another thing to keep in mind with that as well is, let's say that you are that person to where everybody in your life is like, oh, this person is, Kuya. I hope I'm saying that right. Kuya, Kuya, oh yeah, anytime I have any tech questions, I always hit up Kuya because they know. And you also just love tech and love talking about tech, then maybe you should do tech. If your stuff is like, people are like, oh, hey, anytime I start talking about, and I'll just use history again. Anytime I start talking about, this part of history, Kuya always comes in and like corrects me and fixes me. And then we end up having to talk about history for the next 3 hours because, Kuya is so excited about history. Then that means that, that's probably something you're into. So that would be another thing to explore when it comes to, considering the content to make. Let's see here. As we keep going down the list, we got Dr. Non-Skills. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it there. Thank you for the super sticker, I should say. Let's see here as we keep on going. It says, hey, Nick, Control reported my live stream a while back and it was flagged for review now. I don't know what to do because YouTube disabled my live streaming. So if somebody just, if like one person reports it, then it shouldn't really be a big deal in terms of YouTube, taking it down. That typically will happen when like their AI that like will identify something that's happened in your video. It could be like copyright music, or, you could be showing something like what happened to me on Facebook the other day in our members only stream, to where you could be showing something on your screen and, in their systems like, hey, this is not something that we want on YouTube. And then they shut your stream down for that. But like one report shouldn't cause your stream to go down and you to lose live streaming privileges. There's usually something else attached to that. Let's see here. Tube Spanner in the house. Danielle, what is going on? Hope that you're doing great. Says, so many creators go on to become huge by applying the methods Nick is explaining. Take notes. This stuff is gold. Absolutely. Take notes on all of this. Like as we're going through all of this information, taking notes and just thinking like anything that resonates with you, like write it down, right? Take a note, just so that you can take a note and put a timestamp next to it. So if you want to, come back and be like, hey, this is where he talked about that thing, so that I can make sure that, the context is the way that I'm thinking and all that, like after the stream, then you can do that as well. Let's see here. And the timestamp, by the way, right now is 1 hour and 38. So just as a heads up there in case you are looking for that timestamp. So City Geek says, what is considered a bad CTR? I make educational videos about cities and only one of my videos is ranking in search. Thanks for all of your help. Okay, so a couple things I want you to think about. One is that search traffic is very powerful and you should consider that depending on the type of content that you publish. However, when it comes to overall discovery on YouTube, it's important to remember that the majority of views on YouTube comes from YouTube showing your content on homepages and just recommending it next to other content. So, everybody that's only targeting search, remember search, is extremely powerful. You can get a ton of traffic from search. I've got some, videos that have done exceptionally well in search. And, like I'm always a fan for YouTube search. However, keep in mind that when you're making content for search, you also need to consider, okay, I'm optimizing this for search. However, I also need to make sure that it's compelling to where if somebody was not expecting to see this content, it's still compelling enough for them to want to click on it and watch it too. So then that way you're optimizing for search and you're optimizing for overall discovery. And that's also going to help you in search as well. Because then if you can, you target it properly in search and you optimize it for search in terms of your keywords and all that good stuff. And then you also make it as compelling as you possibly can, so it's interesting from the outside, then that's also going to help you in search because then you've made it, that much more compelling so that people will click on it more elsewhere. So then that way, the people that are looking for it specifically, how do I find this, piece of content that this person made? Then when they're looking for that in search, then their likelihood of clicking on that and enjoying that content is going to be higher. But in terms of your CTR on YouTube, on the entire platform, they say that between 2 and 10% is the average on the platform, but they don't give us any information about impressions. So because of that, we don't have any real information on your click-through rate. They also don't tell us if that 2 and 10%, they don't tell us if that's like average. They don't tell us if it's from specific sources. I'm going to guess that it's average. But the problem with your click-through rate when it comes to averaging is if you go and you look in your traffic sources, you can find out that, hey, maybe tons of people are clicking on it from your channel page, but then they're not clicking on it from search, or they're not clicking on it from browse, or they're not clicking on it from suggested. And therefore your click-through rate is kind of artificially inflated, because then the only people that are really responding to that are already involved in your channel anyway, and they're actually finding it from your channel page. So, because of that, it's important to make sure that you're looking at the number averaged, but also look at it from the specific traffic sources as well, to make sure that it's performing as good as you would like it to, for the source that you're targeting. As we keep on going on the thing, I like saying that. As we keep on going, Manchester Tech guy says, I hit 4,000 hours of watch time. Mark, thanks to the advice of Nick and others like him, slowly chipping away at the subscriber count. Just wanted to say a huge thank you to Nick for providing gold for free. High five and fist bump to you for getting that 4,000 hours of watch time and your 1,000 subscribers if you've hit that as well. And thank you for the kind words and the super chat as well. Much appreciated. Thank you. Love seeing these gains. Like, I love seeing this kind of stuff. Like, people will ask me like, hey, Nick, why do you spend 3 hours live streaming every Saturday? Like this right here, like this right here. This is why I spend 3 hours live streaming every Saturday. Let's see here. So next up, we've got, as we keep on going down the list, as many as you can get. Let's see here, a new YouTuber. What is a good goal? 10 subs, 100 subs, or 1,000 subs? So as a new YouTuber, in my opinion, your goal should not be based on 10 subscribers, 100 subscribers, or 1,000 subscribers. Your goal should be based on how long you're able to keep people watching your videos, in terms of total watch time, minutes watched. And you should also be focused on how good you are at getting people to click on your thumbnails. That is reflected through your click-through rate, compared to the impressions that YouTube is giving you. Those are the things that you should focus on, not your subscriber count, especially if you're just getting started. So when it comes to the thing that matters on YouTube, it's the content. Like when you're focused on like, hey, I want to get 10 subscribers, or I need to get 100 subscribers. Like, I get it in terms of like, hey, I want to get 1,000 subscribers and I want to get 4,000 hours of watch time so I can start getting ad revenue. I totally understand that. So, chasing that 1,000 is great. However, the only thing that's going to get you to that 1,000 subscriber milestone is having content that people enjoy, at least to a standard that YouTube deems it as, worthy to show people on a regular basis on the platform. So because of that, instead of thinking to yourself, what's a good goal, 10 subs, 100 subs, or any subs, think to yourself, okay, my win here is going to be learning how to make content that people really enjoy, and making that type of content over and over again for that audience. And if I can do that, and I can learn how to make that content, and I can learn how to get people to click on that content, I'm never going to have to even worry about subscribers. I'm not going to have to worry about views, because I'm going to know that I make content that's good enough for people to enjoy it. And therefore, since people enjoy it, YouTube is going to show it to people on the platform. So that's the mindset that you want to have when it comes to YouTube. Instead of focusing on, hey, 10 subscribers, focus on, hey, my last video, I got people to watch for 2 minutes. Now I'm going to try to get people to watch for 3 minutes. And I'm going to study my audience retention reports. I'm going to experiment a ton, and I'm going to learn how to keep people watching my videos for a longer period of time. And overall, not just how to keep watching for a longer period of time, but just how to give them a great experience. How to, make people, when they watch my videos, when somebody watches my videos, I want them to leave thinking like, wow, I got a ton of value out of that. Right. I get, in your case, I'm not sure what type of content that you make, Matthew. But if you're doing entertainment content, then it's like, hey, you want people to leave thinking like, wow, that was awesome. Right. Love that video. It was great. I want to share this with somebody. If you're teaching people how to do stuff, then you want it to be, hey, when they leave your video, you want it to be like, wow, I got tons of value out of this. Right. So, focus on those types of things. And those are the things like views and subscribers are an effect of making good content, right? Making good content and learning how to get people to click on it. So those are kind of like rewards, side effects that happen when you focus on making good content for people. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down the list, D Lion says, any advice for non-English and foreign channels that's just about to start this journey? Absolutely. So if you've never done anything on YouTube before, depending on how heavy your accent is, I would recommend that you focus on serving your local audience first, so you can learn all the intricacies of YouTube and how to get your local community to respond to what it is that you're doing. Then once you learn how to do that, then try to tackle the English market on a separate channel. do not mix the languages on your one channel. I recommend that you do, if you end up, you know, doing one language or the other, then just focus that on one channel. But if you're going to do both languages, do not put it on one channel. So make sure that you're keeping that in mind when it comes to your content, and also make sure that, you know, like if your accent, you can do great on YouTube if you have an accent, you're going after the English market, that's fine. But just make sure that when you are looking at your stats and things like that, that you are keeping in mind that there are going to be some people when you're going after the English market, that when they land on your video, if you make content similar to another content creator that speaks their native language, when they land on your video, if they don't click with you right away, just the accent by itself, for some people, not everybody, but for some people, that will cause them to jump and just go find, you know, other content from somebody that speaks their native language. So when you're looking at your stats, just keep that in mind, that, you know, sometime it might not be that, you know, that, you know, the people that are watching your content thinks your videos suck. It could just be, if you notice in your retention, like big drops, you know, and things like that, it could just be that, you know, the some of the people that are seeing that video are just not responding to it in the way that you would want, just because there's tons of other content like that in their native language, which is easier to watch. So, you know, to keep those types of things in mind. But keep in mind, like we've got iPhonedo. He, you know, does great, has a you know, very strong accent. We have I went through this with somebody just the other day. We have him. We have Peter Lindgren. He's also amazing, but he also has, you know, a strong accent, but people really love his content as well. Tons of people out there. My friend Alex over at E4Electric, he doesn't have a strong accent, but he has an accent. But people, you know, love his stuff as well. So, you know, just keep those types of things in mind, you know, when you are, you know, getting going. Not sure what the name says, but
welcome to the Nimminati.
So go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. Make sure you fill out all the information on the way in, because that's how I verify you're a member. If somebody does not fill out that information, then I just delete it, you know, as soon as I see it. So because of that, just make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in. Let's see here. So next up on our list, I'm going to jump into the form for this one, and then we'll come back here into the actual chat. Do I see Mike Phillips in here? I do. What's up, Mike? Hope you're doing great, man. Mike says that Alex has a good accent. He does. Yeah, but I'm just saying, you know, it's just, you know, a little bit off from, you know, from a native English speaker targeting the English market. But he's, you know, he's definitely easy to understand. Let's see. So next up on our list here, we have Rav Plays. Rav Plays says they upload when they have time. They make gaming content. The goal of the channel is to be monetized in YouTube and help my family and income, and I want to upload videos to entertain people. Question: every time I get a new subscriber, like 10 or more per day, my subscribers would always decrease. I was worried about what was happening in my channel because this situation didn't happen before. So keep in mind, people unsubscribe on YouTube for just tons of different reasons. And because of that, as your subscriber count grows, you're also going to have people leave. So what you want to pay attention to is you want to pay attention to videos that generate subscribers, and you want to pay attention to videos that cause subscribers to leave. And if you notice a pattern of, hey, anytime I make content like this and people leave, then you have to make sure that that content serves another purpose than generating subscribers. Or if it doesn't, then you have to make sure that that you know, make less of that content and more of the content that generates subscribers if the goal of the channel is subscriber gain. But just keep in mind, like on my channel, since I started this, I started in September of 2014, been doing this for a long time. During that time, I've lost over 250,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel. So, you know, just keep in mind that, you know, it's a normal thing. Of course, I have a high churn on mine as well, just because a lot of people start YouTube and then they, you know, realize there's work involved and then they quit. But you know, within that, you know, it's still, hey, what's up, ASMR Dreammore? But within that, you know, I've lost a ton of subscribers. So let's see here, as we keep on going down the list, we got that one. So if you have a question, now's a great time to drop it in the chat. Make sure you put a Q in front of that. Make sure you put a Q in front of that question. So it looks like through the poll here, we're at 360 votes, under 1,000 subscribers, 62, 1,000 to 10,000, we're at 27%, 1,000 or 10,000 to 100,000 is 7%, and 10,000 or 100,000 plus is 4%. Nice, nice, love it. So let's see here as we keep on trucking here. How to get views from the beginning. Wanting to start a channel to promote blacksmithing business that I'm starting. So a really easy low-hanging fruit at the beginning of your YouTube journey to start getting views right away is to make videos that are search targeted. So as long as your content type supports it, which I'm guessing that if you're doing blacksmithing stuff, it will, as long as your content type supports it, then targeting terms in search that people are actively looking for is really advantageous. So the tool that I'm always talking about, TubeBuddy, I actually pull up the thing here so you can just see what it looks like. But the tool that I'm always talking about here with TubeBuddy, up there on the left, right there, with that will help you uncover things that people are looking for around the type of content that you make. You can also do things like go to YouTube search and start typing in like blacksmithing, for example, and then YouTube is going to auto-complete things that people are looking for around blacksmithing. So that's going to help you be able to make content around things that people who are interested in blacksmithing are looking for. So those are the types of things that you want to make sure that you are that you're thinking about when you're starting the YouTube channel. But basically, when you are getting started, you want to think about a handful of things. One, go and look at all of the other videos or all the other channels that you think are going to be somewhat similar to yours that you're going to be competing with. Go to their videos page, and I'll actually show you here. If we were to go to hold on really quick. I'm just going to open up YouTube, and then I'm going to Blissful Zen ASMR. Glad that you are enjoying the content. Thank you for the kind words. Let's see here. Did I spell it wrong? Oh, I forgot to put a com in there. I was like, man, it's coming up blank. Did I spell YouTube wrong? Like, what's wrong with me? I forgot the C on the com. Okay, so let's see here. So if we were to, you know, let's just do this Let's do this. So if we just do this in real time, oop, that's the wrong one. Let me delete this one, and then we will do another stream. So if you are watching this or listening to this, I do want to let you know basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just pulling up another YouTube channel. If you happen to, if you're listening to this through the podcast and you want to see what I'm talking about here, right now we're at the timestamp of 1 hour and 52 minutes. So that's where you're going to find the information that I'm getting ready to share with you in the audio version of this show. So basically, if I go up here to the top to YouTube search and I type in blacksmithing, and I see here blacksmithing for beginners, blacksmithing sword, knives, projects, basics, and so on. So one of the things that you want to think about if you're trying to drive awareness to your business is, I'm guessing that your business is selling stuff for blacksmithers. So one thing to make sure that you're considering here is if you're selling stuff for blacksmithers, the people that are just getting started with blacksmithing are probably going to be the people that are going to need the most stuff when it comes to blacksmithing. So making a bunch of blacksmithing content around beginners, or at least a series of content for beginners, would be advantageous for you. So right out of the gate, these are just some things, some ideas that you can see that people are looking for. Blacksmithing basics, blacksmithing for beginners, blacksmithing swords, knives, all that good stuff. But another thing you can do here is if we just hit space and then I click A, then I see axe, katana, anvil. You'd see all the specific things people are looking for. If I do the same thing with B, backspace, C, D. Anyway, as we keep going through this list, then you get tons of ideas around things that people are looking for. So what I would do if I was starting a blacksmithing channel where you're trying to drive revenue for your business is I would just look for things like if you have a specific thing that you're selling, or if you're selling everything around blacksmithing, then in that case, I would think, okay, what exactly is it that I'm trying to bring attention to? Is it a store to where, you can bring people in or whatever, but make sure that you're linking to that in proper places. And in terms of your description, make sure that you're linking to it in your channel art because you want people to go to the store. But also when it comes to the content, that's going to be the thing that's going to be the core of spreading awareness about it. So because of that, you want to, like, if I was selling everything about blacksmithing or just, stuff related to blacksmithing, I would make a beginner series, and I would make that beginner series based around very common things that people are looking for when it comes to blacksmithing, so that your company can be the solution for those people that are having those problems. So if we were to do like blacksmithing, hold on, how to start blacksmithing. Let's see here, how to increase blacksmithing in Skyrim. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. Let's see here, how to start blacksmithing on a budget. Keep in mind, if you start making budget related content, then you're going to bring in that budget audience. So just keep that in mind for your business. If you want to, sell more, then of course, if you have budget items, then this type of video would be great to make. But if you want to sell higher end stuff, then making budget related content, you're going to be bringing in that crowd that's looking for things on a budget versus people that are, willing to spend more money. So just keep that in mind as well. But but, you know, how to make blacksmithing tools. You know, you get to see all this information on things that people are thinking about. But what you want to think about, since you're just starting the channel, is think in series. So when you are putting your content together, and really quick, I'm just going to do blacksmithing for beginners for fun here, and we're going to see what pops up. But one thing you want to think about, though, is you want to think about, okay, when you are putting out content, instead of thinking of your videos as one video, think of your videos as a series. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to do like blacksmithing for beginners, as an example, then you would want to think, okay, when people are first getting started, what type of things are they searching for around blacksmithing? And I'm going to make an entire blacksmithing for beginners playlist. So in that blacksmithing for beginners playlist, I'm going to have like 5 to 10 videos that are specifically for beginners. So that way, if somebody is watching one of the videos, because I'm not just thinking one video anymore, hey, this is the video I'm going to publish. I'm thinking I'm working in a series for everything that I'm doing. So because of that, you want to think, okay, let's say it's a 5-video series that you're going to take people through. Think of and do research like I'm showing you right here of, you know, hey, these are the things that people are actually looking for when they're first getting started with blacksmithing. So because of that, these are the 5 you know, videos that I'm going to make, and I'm going to make sure that in the description of each one of these that I have a link going to a playlist of all of these beginner videos as well. And then I'm also linking in the end screen once I publish the second video. But you can also do this in a playlist on the first as well. But you want to think that you're linking to that playlist in your end screens also, so that as people are watching one video, it's easy for them to hop over to the next one, so that you're creating that relationship between the content, so that you're helping that content also possibly come up in the next up spot for people that are not in that playlist but are interacting with that content as well. Another thing you want to make sure that you're doing is also, and I love the fact that when I start talking about like serious YouTube stuff, like we have a drop in viewership, and this is like some of the most important stuff, like for people to know, but people are like, out of here. But another thing to also make sure that you are keeping in mind with this as well is that inside of your playlist settings, you're going to have the option to mark the series as a playlist, or mark the playlist as a series. I'm sorry. So since you're marking that playlist as a series, then what YouTube tells us in the YouTube Creator Academy, which you need to go through, especially if you're using this for business, but what that does is that helps YouTube know that all the videos in that in that playlist are directly related to each other in some way. And by doing that, you're helping YouTube recommend the other videos in that series next to the other videos in that series when people are watching them. So you want to make sure that you do that as well. But at the end of the day, the very first core thing you got to think of is, how can I put my content together in the most simple way that makes it easy for people to flow through the content? I'm not trying to hit them with like logos and these big long intros and all this stuff. I'm trying to get into the content, because that's what they're going to be clicking on your videos for. So try not to waste their time. Try to make it easy for them to find more of your content through playlists. Also make sure that you are linking, you know, those playlists in your descriptions, end screens, that kind of stuff as well, so that you start creating your channel as a resource for blacksmithing. But you start that with that core playlist that you start working on when you first start your YouTube channel. But one of the things that you also want to do is, if you find people that do blacksmithing, so let's just say if Jason Knight here, I'm not sure if his whole channel is blacksmithing, Dan Life. Okay, so it looks like he's got some. So basically what you'd want to do is you'd want to go to other channels, and basically here, and this works for any type of content, you guys. So you just go to other channels and you go to sort by most popular. And then this is going to start giving you insight into things that people who you're targeting are interested in. So here, you know, we've got, you know, how to sharpen your kitchen knife, you know, all these different things around blacksmithing that people have positively responded to on his channel. Now, keep in mind that some of these things, you know, they might have a higher interest depending on the type of content. I'm making this general for a second. Depending on the type of content you make, some of these things, you know, might have gotten a boost because, you know, they made a video about a thing at a certain time that it was popular, to where maybe now it's not as popular. So you want to make sure that any of the information that you're pulling from this sort of thing, that you research it. But the idea is to go through and just over the course of, let's say, 10 to 15 channels that are successful, and don't only look at the big ones. Look at the big ones, but also look at, you know, channels that have like, you know, 5,000 or 10,000 subscribers that are doing great, and look and see the content there that people are responding to. But in addition to that, when you're putting your content together, also look at things like, you know, how long are these people making their videos for? What types of stuff are they doing in their thumbnails? What type of imagery are they focusing on in their thumbnails? That sort of thing. Because I can tell you this, that if this guy's getting 430,000 views, 414,000 views, 388,000 views, and so on, that, you know, people are responding to what he's doing. So because of that, I would really analyze how he's structuring his video content, how he's putting his thumbnails together, the imagery that he's focusing on, and do this for a nice handful of channels, at least 10, as long as there's that many channels in the space, so that you can just start to get an understanding of what's going on YouTube in the space that you are, the space that you're trying to operate within. So hopefully that was helpful. So Mike Phillips says, kudos from the serious YouTubers for taking the YouTube serious stuff. It takes planning and work. So appreciate you, Nick. Thank you for that. Mike says, that blacksmithing question got a ton of bonus. Hope people took notes. Thank you for that, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. So let's see here. As we keep on going down the list here, we've got, I'm actually just going to hop back into the form here. And we are at 10, 11. So yeah, so let's see. I'm going to share this out here in a minute as well to the group. See if any homies want to come in, hang out at all. So let's see here. So next up on the list here, this one's coming from the form, and then we're going to jump back into the to the questions, or into the chat. I mean, you know, I was wondering, I was like, where did the YouTube chat go? Covering it with my screen. That's where it went. So as we scroll down here, we got Yo Lad Mitch. Says they do gaming content. The goal of the channel is to help people and get that sweet goal. The question is, this isn't about YouTube. I need help. How to fix laptop. Okay, we covered that one already, so we're just going to skip over to the next one. And now we have the Spectrum Art Academy. Spectrum Art Academy says that they do art tutorials. The goal of the channel is to help people with their art struggles. The question, after uploading your video, and specifically it going live, if this makes a difference, is there a recommended period of time where you shouldn't go in and make amendments, changes, tags, etc.? I've heard that can affect YouTube pushing your content if you keep going in and changing things. Thanks for all that you do. So if you make a mistake, you make an error, and you need to update it, go in and update it. But what I wouldn't do is I wouldn't go in there and like change it and then just like wait a little bit and then change it again and then wait a little bit and then change it again. Like, you know, YouTube is testing your content. When you publish it, they're testing in all of the different services in front of different people, and they're trying to figure out who is a good fit for that content based on how they respond to it. So every change that you make when you first publish that video, you're kind of polluting that information a little bit. So of course you can make a change. If you're getting a lot of views when you first publish, then, you know, one little change, you'll be able to see that immediately. But if you're getting, you know, just a little bit of views coming in, then that one change, you might not even notice the difference that you've made, you know, positive or negative. So because of that, you know, just commit to what it is that you do. Say commit to a thumbnail, commit to a title, and then let it sit for, you know, at least a few days. And if, you know, you're not getting any activity on it at all, then, you know, feel free to go in there and update it if you want to. But keep in mind, sometimes when you publish a video on YouTube, it doesn't do that great. But down the road, once YouTube puts it in front of the right people and they respond to it positively, then those videos can just take off out of nowhere. So, you know, when you do go in and make those changes, you could be messing with the future of that video, trying to get the immediate gain on that video as well. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, as we keep on going down the list. Does quality affect your channel? Value affects your channel more than anything. So what you want to think about is, you know, there's plenty of YouTube content creators. I actually have a video on my channel where there's a guy here locally in Thailand where he basically grew his YouTube channel over about 10 months to 100,000 subscribers using nothing but a phone. And by using nothing but a phone, like his quality is good enough, and it's actually decent because he shoots most of his stuff outside, but his quality is good enough that people responded to it. So because of that, you know, he did great. So regardless of what everything looks like, as long as people can clearly see what's going on, and as long as it sounds okay, then, you know, you can do fine. Like, it's all about the value and what it is that people get from your content and the experience that they have with it, more than what it looks like. So one thing that I want you to think about is that, Choppa, what's up, dude? Hope that you are doing fantastic. Glad to see you in here, my man. Hope that you're doing great. But like when you are, you know, and I completely lost my train of thought there when I wanted to say hey to Choppa. So I lost my train of thought on that particular question. So we're just gonna keep on trucking and moving forward. All right. So let's see here. I didn't share any much. Number 4. Let's see here. So as we keep on going down this list, looking for that question. Is it best to show your subscribe count or no? Is the question for this one. I personally recommend that you just go ahead and show your subscriber count. And the reason for that is because usually when people are not showing their subscriber counts because they think that it's bad that they don't have a lot of subscribers. However, people can still see your view counts, so it doesn't matter. So because of that, I would just go ahead and show it. Let's see here. Why do some shorts go viral and some don't? It's based on how people respond to those shorts. Let's see here as we keep on going. Hey, Doug Houston says, saying hey to Choppa. Yeah, you guys live in that Australian life over there. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Vaughn Sanders says, tremendous value here. Thanks for dropping gems. I've seen good growth on my ministry channel from your tips, putting in the work. Awesome to hear. Awesome to get that feedback that you're getting results from this. High five and fist bump. And thank you for the super chat, Vaughn, there. I appreciate it. Thank you. Mario Doodle says, can you talk about tags and keywords? Absolutely. I can talk about tags and keywords all day. Matter of fact, I've done that. Where I talk about tags and keywords all day. But okay, here's the thing you need to know about tags. So according to YouTube, tags are not as important anymore as they used to be. Still use them since that box is there, but don't spend time obsessing over what it is that you're doing with your tags. You know, that's where using a tool like TubeBuddy can be beneficial because they're going to scan what you've done in your title, what you've done in your description, and they're going to give you tags based on what it is that you're doing there. And you can just click on, yeah, this is relevant, this is relevant, this is a misspelling, this is this, and you can add, you know, the things that are relevant to that video and then move on. When it comes to keywords, totally different thing. With keywords, what you're doing with a keyword is you're trying to give the system context in terms of what your video is about. And they're going to figure it out eventually anyway. But at the time of publish, you want their system to know without a question what your video is about so that it can know the right people to show your content to. So according to a podcast with a guy named Christoph, who is the head of engineering at YouTube Search and Discovery, one of the things that he said is, content creators, give us help. Give us context. Use keywords in your titles so that you can give us context to what your content's about. Now, if you're making entertainment content or something like that, where your content isn't really keyword based, to where you're just doing, like, let's say like Dude Perfect. If you're doing like a 2 mile three throw shot, and you're just, you know, you're dunking it from like 2 miles away through a cannon, then in that case, it stands on its own. So you don't need a keyword. You just need to work on the compelling side of expressing that through the imagery and through the title. However, when it comes to, you know, a majority of the content, when you use a keyword, what that does is that helps their system understand what the content's about. And it also helps the people that are going to be interacting with that content know what it's about from the outside. So what I mean by from the outside is, until somebody clicks on your video, they don't really know what's going on. So because of that, you, through your thumbnail and your title, you have to tell people what your video is about. So when you add a keyword and you make sure that that keyword is as close to the front of the title as possible, you are basically tapping into their interest through that keyword. So for example, if we did something about cakes, since Shop is in here, if we did something about cakes, then we would want to make sure that if we're targeting people that make cakes, that we have, you know, cakes somewhere in that title, preferably as close to the front as possible, so that people would know that, hey, you know, if I'm interested in, you know, cake related things, I'm going to see this cake. Now, keep in mind, in his case, he would be able to get away with it just through like a thumbnail, to where that thumbnail is like, hey, this is a cake. But then in his title, he would need to say something about, you know, what's going on with that cake, because that cake could be taken in terms of, you know, hey, I'm making this cake, I'm selling this cake, this is a cake recipe, this is a cake that we're going to drop off of this building, this is a cake that we're going to, you know, throw in the face of this celebrity or whatever it is, you know. So, you know, any context that you can give is the win. But when you are using keywords, like let's say, for example, one that I like to give is like, let's say it's a MacBook and you're making a video about a MacBook. Well, let's say that your video is something along the lines of, you know, 10 tips and tricks that new Mac users need to know about the MacBook Pro. Well, in that case, that title's so long that the MacBook Pro part, the part that is going to grab the attention of somebody that has a MacBook Pro that's trying to figure out how to use it, that part is going to be cut off on a lot of places on YouTube. So because of that, you want to make sure that that MacBook is as close to the front of the title as possible. So people that just got a MacBook that are on YouTube trying to figure out how to use it, they can see in your title. And of course, you're going to express that in your thumbnail too, but they can see in your title and your thumbnail that that video has something to do with a MacBook, which is something that they care about, which will then cause them to click on that video, right? So that's the approach that you want to take when it comes to your keywords. But just as a heads up, like in a lot of like places on Reddit and things like that, people put tons of emphasis on tags. They're like, hey, and somebody's like, hey, my video's not getting views. And then you'll have like 20 comments where people are like, well, what tags are you using? Hey, I bet I'm not using the right tags, or you're not using the right tags. It has nothing to do with it. The thing that matters is how people click on your content and how people enjoy your content. But the thing with people clicking on your content is making sure that your content gets in front of the right people that are interested in it so that they'll click on it. That's where that context thing comes in. And then also helping people identify that your content is something that they care about. And that's where using your keywords and your title and or your thumbnail are valuable on YouTube. So as we keep on going, let's see here. So Airworthy Tours
Superchat
says, oops, there we go. Says, I've been watching and learning from you since 2018, and yesterday my channel hit the threshold for monetization. This is my biggest accomplishment in life, and I want to thank you, Nick. Cheers. High five and fist bump to you. Awesome to see that you are now monetized on YouTube. So I'm not sure exactly the content that you're putting out, but I just want to let you know, like, YouTube ads is the tip of the iceberg. So, you know, YouTube ads, if you're getting crushed with views, you can make a lot of money in YouTube ads, but if you're not getting crushed with views, you can make good money with YouTube ads. However, you know, there's other ways that you can make a lot of money on YouTube. So, you know, if you are excited because you're monetized, just consider that there are other things that you can do for monetization as well. You just got to get creative around the type of content that you make and try to think of other ways that you can monetize it as well. But in the meantime, just making money off the ads, huge win. So congratulations to you for getting into the partner program and making that happen, putting in the work, you know, making those videos, you know, all the time, putting all that thought and effort, laying in bed at night, thinking to yourself, what's the next video that I'm going to make? Man, I wonder if people are going to like this video. Wonder if I can put this video together in a cool way. You know, like when you're doing all that, you know, it's paying off. So, you know, nice work on your part. Chocolate Twist Yoga says, other than shorts, what are your opinion for best use cases for vertical videos on YouTube? Stories, 15 seconds for YouTube stories and YouTube shorts. Of course, you know, if you go into your YouTube stats and you notice that like everybody, like let's say that you have like a 98% mobile viewership and it's happening on a mobile phone and not on a tablet, then in that case, that's like a green light to where you can essentially just start doing vertical videos on your channel. And most of the people that are watching them are going to be watching on a mobile device anyway, and it's going to fill the screen. Just make sure that when you render it out, that it actually comes out as a vertical video. And then you can also repurpose that content elsewhere as well. But basically everybody here inside of your YouTube stats, you can go in, you can see where people are watching from, how old they are and all that, but you can also see the device that they're watching on the most. So you'll see like computers, you'll see mobile devices in terms of like phones and tablets and that sort of thing. So when you go and you look at that, that's going to help give you context into how people are experiencing your content. So then you can start making better content decisions in terms of the format that you're putting out. You know, like if you decide to do like, you know, wide videos like, you know, most people do on YouTube, or if you're like, hey, you know, everybody that's watching my content is watching from a mobile phone. So therefore, you know, I can go ahead and just do some, you know, vertical videos if I want, and it's perfectly fine because most of the people are there. But I would still do horizontal thumbnails though, because that's the choice. But just make sure you're using the custom thumbnails. Let's see here. Wisco Ted says diversify your income. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. And we've got, should thumbnails stick out from the competition? Yes, absolutely they should. Yeah, so basically you want to think to yourself like, okay, the competition's doing this. So if it's something that is working well for them, you want to think, how can I take what they're doing and level it up? Or how can I do something that's completely different and keep testing it until I can get that to where it's working, you know, awesomely. But absolutely, you want to try to separate yourself in some way from the other people that are making content like yours. Let's see here. It's so hard to get more subscribers. It can be, yeah. But the thing is, like, YouTube is hard. Right? Let's have that conversation. YouTube by itself is hard. Like there's so much stuff that you have to learn. Like when you first come onto YouTube, you know, you got to learn how to, and I actually talked about this in one of the videos that I made recently. It's not on the channel yet, but basically the thing when it comes to YouTube is like, if you come onto YouTube and you don't have any experience with all this online stuff yet, like you got to learn how to come up with video ideas on a regular basis. You got to learn how to actually record in a way that is, that where things like look okay and they sound okay. You got to learn how to just overall present your information. You got to learn how to set up your scene. If you put in that effort, you have to learn how to edit the videos themselves. You got to learn how to process your audio, or at least work with your audio to identify, if you have problems or whatever within your audio. You got to learn the interface of YouTube. You got to learn your YouTube analytics. You got to learn how to optimize your videos for discovery. You have so much stuff that you have to learn. It's hard. So the thing that you should not be doing if you're just getting started, which, according to this poll here at the top of the chat, out of 550 votes, 66% of you are under 1,000 subscribers. If you're just getting started, the last thing you should be worried about right now is how many subscribers do I have? How many subscribers did I generate, today? You should be worried about how are people responding to my videos, because when you start worrying about your video content, that is the thing that's going to cause people to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Worrying about subscribers is not going to cause people to subscribe to your YouTube channel. Worrying about how the people that are interacting with what it is that you're doing are responding to it, worrying about that is going to cause you to make better videos, which then in turn is going to cause those videos to perform better on YouTube, which then means that those videos are going to get in front of more people and more of the right people, and those people are going to start subscribing to your YouTube channel. So at the core of everything it is that you're doing on YouTube, the video content and learning how to get people to click on that video content, those two things are going to do more for you than anything else that you can possibly do on your YouTube channel. So those are the things that you really want to focus on. And of course, you can apply content strategy, all that good stuff. But like right now, if you're just getting started, focus on the viewer experience and getting people through your content and making something that people enjoy and that they get value from with every single piece of content that you upload. So sometimes when I'm looking through my comments, right, I'll go through comments, I'll get my right right click ready, and I'll go through and I'll right click and I'll fill up my browser, with a bunch of your YouTube channels, and I'll go and I'll look at your channel. Some of them I'll subscribe to, comment, whatever. But basically, I'll go through and I'll look at your channels, and this kind of helps me just stay up to date on things that I need to talk about based on what I see. And I'll look at some channels and I'll think to myself, why did this person publish this video thinking that people would respond to this? And the thing with that is when you publish your content, it's really important to make sure that you're being intentional about what it is that you're putting out there, and you're not just putting stuff out there willy-nilly, so to speak, that you're just being intentional about what it is that you're doing and that you're thinking. If you're just uploading for the sake of your own archive, hey, this is my, I took this trip to, wherever, and this is just for me and for to share to my family members. If other people watch it, that's fine. If that's your approach, not a big deal. But if you're watching my content, I'm going to guess that that's not your approach. And if you are uploading it to the internet just in general, if you're not uploading it for family and friends, but you're uploading it hoping for other people to watch it, then you have to be intentional about what you're doing. And you have to think, hey, Professor Nez in the house. What's up, dude? And you gotta be intentional about what it is that you're doing. And you got to focus on making sure that you're thinking through okay, I'm putting out this piece of content, but when somebody else watches this, what are they going to experience from this? What are they going to get from it? What are they going to walk away with once this video is finished? What type of value am I giving to these people when they are coming in and they're interacting with my content? You want to make sure that you're focused on those types of things, because if not, just like Chapa here says, he says the days of, crap posting are gone. These days you have to be competitive on YouTube, and you have to learn how to be competitive on YouTube in order to get all of the stuff that you want out of being a YouTube content creator. Right. Drop this in here just in case anybody wants to come and hang out. Boom. Okay. So next up on our list here, let's see here. It says it starts 6 a.m. on Saturday. I get up on the weekend to watch this. Nice. High five, fist bump to you for waking up early just to hang out here on Nimmin Live. Love it. This is Chris, says advice for making content on a new game coming out. So definitely make sure that you're getting, that game. If you're not getting the game yet, then I would make some videos talking about the game, what you're expecting from the game, why you think it's good, keeping people up to date on the deadlines of when that game's coming out, that type of stuff. I would experiment with that type of content first, so that as the game's coming out, you already have people that are interested in that game that you've already been talking to, sharing your opinions, your thoughts, your pluses, your minuses, all the information that you currently know about the game, so that you already have that dialogue going with your community. And then of course, as soon as it comes out, then start pushing the game. If you do start making those opinion pieces and start getting people hyped up for the game, reach out to the company as well and just be like, hey, I'm making a bunch of YouTube videos about the game. Would love to get early access because I'm trying to, just spread some awareness about your game and see if you can get some early access to the games as well. In some cases, if it's something that's going to be coming out, you might have to you might have to sign a contract saying that you're not going to publish any videos ahead of time, and they'll give you a specific date and time that they'll allow you to publish. It's an embargo on the game. So because of that, you just want to be mindful of that sort of thing. But in terms of just talking about it, getting people hyped up, that's definitely something to do so that you're still in front of people that are interested in it. Let's see here. Looking for questions. Okay, I don't see any cues right there, so I'm going to jump into the forum. And let's see here. If you have a question, go ahead and drop it in there now, and then I'll just stop it here in the chat. But I'm going to hop into the forum here while those are coming in. So RBLX Aston says they upload when they have time. They do gaming, mostly Roblox content. The goal of the channel is to have fun and potentially get monetized. And the question is, how do you manage school or work with YouTube? This is a great question. So who here, in addition to YouTube, has like a job or work or something else that you do? I'm just going to assume everyone. Well, not everyone, but most people. I would say a strong majority of the people, with the exception of, I would start being a little bit less on that with the people with like 10,000 plus subscribers on their channels. But like the thing is like when it comes to that like work-life YouTube balance thing, you just have to prioritize things. One thing that can be really advantageous is making a schedule and scheduling in your time to do YouTube, because everything else is a schedule. You have the time that you wake up. Like if you have a job that you have to go to, you're probably waking up at a certain time. If you have a family to take care of, you're probably waking up at a certain time. If the family's taking care of you, if you're younger, then you're probably still waking up at a certain time. So like everything in your life, if you are, like if you have a job or if you have a family or something, like everything is pretty structured, and you can lock everything that you're doing for the most part into a schedule of some kind. So because of that, you just look at your YouTube channel, look over the course of your week or your month or whatever, and say, okay, this is where I have some free time, right? Write down all the places in your schedule that you have some free time. Just first write out your schedule, then look for places where you have free time, and then say, these are all the places that I have free time. How can I be the most efficient on working on my YouTube channel during those free times? And then just use that free time to do your thing. Of course, keep in mind, the priority is going to shift based on what it is that you're trying to do with your YouTube channel. So if you're somebody that is trying to go full time on YouTube, then the sacrifices that you might make within your schedule might be different than somebody that's like, hey, I'm just uploading videos. If people like my stuff, cool. If they don't, that's cool too. Sure, I'd like to get views, but not a big deal. I'm just doing this as a hobby. Like if that's your approach, then, the sacrifices aren't going to be that high. You don't need to, cancel this so that you can make sure that you have that YouTube time, nothing like that. But if you're like, hey, I'm going all in on this, I want to turn this into something, I want to generate money from this, I want to be like a full-time content creator, I want to turn this into a career of some kind, then in that case, I recommend that you look at your Netflix time as free time, and you stop watching, Netflix all the time. You look at some of your gaming time, some of those free things that you do, for right now, for the temporary, sacrifice some of those things for the process of learning how to make better videos and, just making additional content so that you can just be working on your skill sets during those times. And then once you, get everything rolling, you get some momentum, then slide back into, adding some Netflix time and game time and, things like that. But, if you really want it and you don't have a lot of time in your schedule, then of course you're going to have to force that time in there, and that's going to come with sacrificing some things like Netflix and that kind of stuff. Okay, let's look for some questions here. Okay, so we got some questions. Here we go. So the very first one here is from Peter George. Says, how do you approach a darts channel? I want to do reviews, news, and live when competitions are on. So the problem is when competitions are on is that your videos are probably going to be taken down if you're streaming the competition, because that competition might be streamed on YouTube already. And if it is, then it's going to be getting streamed into their content ID. And then when you stream it, their system is going to detect it, and then they'll take your, they could take your stream down, depending on, what that, the rights holders of that, that Dart championship have worked out with YouTube. So because of that, if you are going to do that sort of thing, I wouldn't stream the actual event, but maybe do like highlights or do something related to like, hey, this is what's going on. You have your own scoreboard. You're not showing any of their stuff on screen. You don't have any of their audio on screen. You're just watching it externally where people on YouTube can't see it, but you're giving like, play-by-plays, letting people know what's going on. But keep in mind, if you're doing that, then, those people are probably also watching the thing. So then they might be watching you side by side where they're watching that, just so they can hear your commentary on it. If they, dig your channel and they love your input on that sort of thing. But when you do like reviews and news, Totally different thing, because in that case, then, you know, you would go after what I would do in that case is I would use TubeBuddy. I would find the best, you know, keywords for the things that people are looking for that have the highest amount of traffic versus the lowest amount of competition. And I would do reviews around all of those things so that you are placed in search for those. But of course, like you always hear me say, make sure that even if you're targeting search, that you make sure that you're adding compelling elements to your thumbnail and or your title so that you can also capitalize on homepage traffic and suggested traffic as well. But another thing that I would make sure that I do is I would make sure that every video title that I put up, that I also have the word darts in the title somewhere, or dart in the title somewhere, just for the sake of context for the people that are interested in darts. In your thumbnails, if you are inclined to put yourself in your thumbnails right now, I wouldn't even worry about that, because the people that are looking around at dart related content, if you're into darts, you probably see this on your own homepage. The people that are looking around at dart related content, if they see you in the thumbnail and only you and some text on there, they might not have a quick glance at that and get a full understanding that it's something that they would care about. If you have dart in your title, it's going to help with that. But a way to kind of slam that one home is, let's say that somebody's watching a dart video on a computer. Then if they're watching a dart video on a computer, being suggested next to that dart video, you're going to see some other dart videos. And some of those thumbnails may be small or they may be large, depending on, you know, what it is that YouTube is testing at that moment in time. And if they see your thumbnail, you want to make sure that at a glance that they can tell that it has something to do with darts. So because of that, I would just put darts in every single thumbnail that you have, versus, you know, having you in there. As you start to grow the channel, if you want to put yourself in the thumbnails as you have an audience so they can recognize that it's you and all that good stuff, that's fine. But right now, I would focus on dart imagery so that the people that are interested in darts, they can clearly see that that's something that they're interested in without having to read the title. They see, oh, this has something to do with darts. I love darts. So therefore, I know this video has something to do with something that I care about. So like, they're not going to think this through. It's going to happen automatically in their brain, right? So they see, you know, the dart related imagery, something I'm interested in, read the title. Oh, something dart review, whatever. I haven't seen these darts before. Let me click on that and go in and watch that video, right? Another thing to keep in mind is when you are putting your dart videos out there, is also keep in mind, you know, you're going to see tons of stuff on YouTube where people are using these real long intros. They start their videos and they say things like, you know, hey, I'm Peter George. I mean, I'm not Peter George, but I'm just giving this example. So, you know, hey, I'm Peter George. You know, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, click the bell, you know, share it with your friend, buy whatever it is I have in the description, and, you know, think about me when you're at the mall next time, right? Like, you don't want to do that. Like, what you want to do is you open your video with a hook. That hook tells them exactly what it is they're going to get into the video, and then you get into the actual content. Now, if you want to put a logo intro or something in there, you can test that if you want to, but at the end of the day, you want to put the content out there that is catered to the viewer experience, which means not wasting their time with a bunch of stuff. If you are going to ask them to subscribe during the video content towards the front, don't just say, welcome to the channel, subscribe. Say something along the lines of, you know, hey, you know, if you're new here, I make videos about darts every Tuesday. So if you're into darts, remember to subscribe, and then move on. So in that way, you're at least giving context into why it is that they should subscribe. So what do we got here? All right, we got some homies that showed up here. And we will start here.
Our next guest registers a 9 out of 10 on the Clooney scale, but he'll also help you leverage YouTube for your business. Ladies and gentlemen, Owen Video.
What up, everybody? Good to see you guys. Can you guys hear me?
Loud and clear, dude. How are you?
Dude, it's so good to see you. It's been a while.
It has. I'm like, who is this guy? Owen who? I showed up here. Like, what is this? The Owen guy? I used to know an Owen. Like, I don't know what happened to that guy. I haven't talked to him in ages. What's going on? It's been like 3 weeks.
Oh man, it's been a long time.
Maybe 4, maybe a month. I don't know how long it's been. It's been a while.
It's been a lot. Yeah. And like with like cities opening up and things opening up again, like I can go places with my families on Saturday.
What do you think of that? Crazy, right? It's like, what's this world that we're living in?
I know. It's nasty.
This just in. We just got notice that a special guest is now beaming in straight from Air Force One. I present to you Daniel Batal.
Nice. Love it. Love the facial.
Best intros ever.
Really took that one home. That was great.
Listen, you got to come in with a bang. I just want to point out that I've also been spending time with Owen's family too. So all of this interaction has been fantastic. We really love COVID passing.
Dude, someday I'm going to be as funny as you are. I seriously, like Daniel will tweet something and then I'll write my little witty comment back. And I'm like, ha, 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 I'm so funny. And then he'll come back with like 4 words that shreds me, that just absolutely destroys me. And it's like
that is a sign of a man who has far too much time on his hands, my friend. That is not a plus. That is probably a character flaw. But I will take that as a compliment. I appreciate it.
Either way, we take what we can get.
How's everybody doing today? What are we talking about?
I love your shirt, Daniel. What's up with your shirt? It looks like we've got some spread shop reppage here. We got spread shop reppage. We got StreamYard reppage as well. Look at that. Bam. Wow. That's what I'm talking about.
We are not playing around. People, if you are out there and you are thinking about live streaming, we could tell you right now that StreamYard is the only choice for trying to live stream quickly, effectively, and get in front of the people you want to know. And if you're looking to wear cool merch that you might want to wear in that stream or sell as a revenue stream outside of the way you're making money inside of YouTube, Spreadshop is your first and only print-on-demand source for making that merch that you might want to put out there.
This is like holy water on a vampire for me. Like, is that what it is? Like garlic? And I think that you guys don't know. I
just really quick, as Owen's saying that, I just want to re-emphasize how awesome StreamYard is and how you guys should be using StreamYard for all of your live streaming solutions. All right, go ahead.
I love you guys. Like, this is real like industry stuff here. So I rep another live stream company. That is
that's why we're doing that. It's from the inside. Like that's what's going on. So So basically, Owen, so Owen represents Restream, who is a StreamYard competitor. So that's why we're giving Owen a hard time right now with the.
Came out of nowhere too. Like I jump in, and it's like Daniel from here, Nick from here.
Yeah. So we were chatting on Facebook, and we're like, "Hey, here he is. Let's get him."
Get on both sides. Come from both sides.
Right in the middle. Yeah, we're gonna put him right in the middle here on the screen because StreamYard allows you to move the screen elements around so that you can make sure that the people on the screen are in the right places for you. But basically, no, I'm just giving you a hard time, Owen.
Perfect. That's so meme. I'm in the middle of the worst meme in America right now.
Can I just point out? I don't know what size Restream's coffee mugs are, but I bet they're not this big.
They're 12 ounces, sir.
Oh, good stuff.
You put like hot liquids in them, you know. Yeah. It's so good to be with you guys. It's been
nice for you to be here, man. Like what's going on what's going on in the Owen video world?
Lots of good stuff. Like we are launching 2 new shows. My wife is launching a show with a naturopathic doctor called the Integrative Medica Podcast. We've done 24 episodes in about 4 weeks. The podcast it's a video podcast. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on iTunes. We've got that going on. We're launching another show called The Brave Talk Show, which is sort of a partnership with 4 other women. It's like a women-based show. I'm producing it, but my wife is actually sort of starring in it as well with 3 other women. So we're just kind of like doing the head down and creating thing right now. Like we're not coming up for air. I haven't really posted on social media. I'm not doing a look at my latest video thing. I'm just head down, grinding, working on new content, and treating YouTube like real estate, right? Treating YouTube like, okay, which of these channels is going to be the big channel that sort of like pays for our retirement? So that's what we've been working on, and it's been really nice. It's been really nice to just kind of get back into creating again.
Nice.
Very cool.
You know, I'm a little bit in the same vein. So like for me, I've been just in a little bit of a lull in terms of content creation on my side as well. Just 'cause I've been busy, you know, with all the stuff going on here. And just this week, I finally got, you know, things set up in a way to where I can literally turn on the light. I literally hit one button, turn the camera on, and then I can just sit there and make a video. So, you know, just having that in place has helped me, you know, this week, you know, crank out, you know, a nice handful of videos. And then I'll be doing, you know, the same exact thing. You know, basically my thing with that particular setup is the subscriber Q&As that I do. Basically, I'm going to come in and I'm going to answer a question a day. Unless I'm like fired up, then I might do 2. And then basically it's going to allow me to stack those subscriber Q&A videos up, you know, pretty fatly, so that I can just continually put those out in addition to the, you know, content that I currently put out as well. So just kind of optimizing the workflow for the sake of, you know, being able to publish more content.
Workflow is the word, my man. And Rob Thomas is asking, what is Owen's channel? You can check us out. We do like video creation tips at Owen Video, but I'm also building a brand new Amazon Alexa channel at Life Automated. So I invite you to check both of those out. Are you doing Alexa automations in terms of workflows? Like, you know, step 1, step 2 is what a workflow is. If you guys don't know, it's like step 1, step 2, step 3. And you do the same thing every time. Like a Hershey bar is made the same way every time, you know. Are you doing is it like Alexa and hardware automations in that you're using, you know, X keys or your switcher board and that sort of, like, talk, what are your automations like?
No, for me, like on the work side of things, the only automations that I have involved is my email. So basically when somebody signs up for that, then there's a sequence that they go through. But outside of that, on the automation side, like I can't really automate my content creation process. I mean, if I hired out, I could, in terms of, you know, hey, you're going to be Nick Nimmin now. Right? So just hiring somebody else, you know, hey, you're Nick Nimmin now.
Hey, I will gladly be Nick Nimmin if that opportunity exists. All right. I'm going to throw my hat in the ring. I will be, I don't know about the shaving the head thing, but I'll take the name. I'll take the name.
Okay, you're Nick Nimmin now. Call me if you need anything. See ya. But basically, on that side of things, it's more about making it easy to make stuff. So one thing that I found, and I'm sure, you know, both of you guys and everybody here that's watching this, you know, who's been creating content for a while, you find that if you put any types of roadblocks in making content to where you have to put out a little bit of extra energy from what you're used to putting out, then it becomes something to where you might not prioritize it, or you just might push it aside because it's just not easy to do. So because of that, you know, with the new setup that I have over there, where I can just sit down, hit, you know, like literally 3 buttons, and then I'm ready to rock and roll. For me, having that is something to where, like, all of the stuff that my brain says, like, I don't feel like doing that today. I don't want to move that light, or I don't want to, you know, move that from here over to here. You know, it takes away those things and just makes it easy to just sit down and just go ahead and do what it is that I need to do. So, so for me, it's more about removing those blocks than it is animation for what it is that I do. That's,
I'll tell you, I'm hearing some feedback on my mic, and this is exactly what Nick's talking about. Last night, we were recording podcasts, and so we had a different setup. And then today, Nick's like, hey, join me live. And I come in, and I'm like, it's like I have to move lights around. I have to replug mics in it. You kind of like forget about these things. When that happens on a weekly basis, you lose so much time and energy in content creation, because you're doing what I call like admin work. Like, that's more of an admin thing. You know, moving the light around. It's not so much like, ooh, let me like use my creative juices right now. And then you sit down to do the video, and you're sweaty and your shirt's wrinkly, and it's like, you know, I'm not sure that you're in that right place all the time to do that.
It is such a, it's, you know, and we're joking about this, like the fact that Nick and I obviously are both, you know, are both affiliated with not only with Spreadshop, but also with StreamYard. But, you know, there's requirements in there where at any given moment we might be
web-based live streaming platform out there, by the way.
I don't know if it's come up in conversation yet, but it probably should. But as content creators, I think sometimes, especially when I was young, like I was never young, not on YouTube, I wasn't anyway. But when I was a newer content creator, you know, you're really focused on growing your channel, building your channel, and as opportunities start arising, and you get to work with different companies, there are different demands, and at any minute you might be having to do many different things for different channels or for different content that can pull away from the way you're naturally used to. Well, this is how I make content for my channel. So having that ability to quickly be able to adapt to different types of content or different requests, or working with different companies and filming something differently, and having things where you're not constantly moving things around. That's the reason I built my set, was just for that. Was it got to the point where it's like, holy crap, I spent half my day, never mind trying to get my hair to dry coming out of the shower, but then setting up things. Nick, we've shared a bathroom before. Well, we've been out on the road. You know what it's like.
It was like, I was like, oh my gosh, look, what happened in here?
Daniel, there was a whole nother Daniel left, just in hair quantity, stuck to every portion of the shower stall.
Owen was in that house too. Owen was there too. Ladies and gentlemen, I need to have an intro made for Andrew since he's coming on regularly now. But Andrew can't in the house. What's up, Andrew? Hope that you are doing.
Hey,
well.
right on.
I'm doing very well. You know, speaking of being on the road, one thing I learned about Daniel is he has like the worst luck with choosing rooms. Like anytime he chooses a room, there's either like a wild ban under him, there's something that goes wrong. So I always feel so bad for Daniel because there's never one consistent time where I've traveled with you where you've had like a good room experience.
Except for that one time that Owen stayed with us and the ceiling fan in his room was stuck on high. So he may have the trophy. He might be the contender for the throne.
Look, let me tell you something interesting about that trip too, because that was what Palm Springs ClamorCon.
Yes.
I think is what, and that's still a great. I was just at ClamorCon like 2 weeks ago. It's still a great event to go to. I filmed 2 videos there for a channel that we kind of just like started and then lost the passion for. You know, you guys ever done that? Like you started channel, oh my gosh, I want my whole life to be on this, and then you do it, and you're like, well, that was fun. 2 videos
later.
Yeah,
I don't really want to do that. Yeah,
those videos got like tens of thousands of views on them, and I just never went back. But I filmed them right there with the ceiling fan going on because I couldn't turn it off for filming those videos.
Nice.
So,
you got it done though. That's what matters. You got it done, and you got tens of thousands of views on the videos, so that effort is not wasted.
The channel got monetized on those 2 videos, and then we're like, meh, on uploading more. You know, so yeah, follow Owen Video for more stellar business advice.
Ooh, wrong button. Hold on. Wrong button. Hold on.
Super
there we go.
chat.
Really quick, Traveler's Backpacker says, hi, myself. Guys, I'm a YouTuber from India. Hope you guys are doing well. We are doing fantastic. Thank you for the super chat. I hope that you are also doing well. And Whiskey Alpha.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
Welcome to the Nimminati. Just go to nimminvip.com. That's going to redirect you to our members-only Facebook group. Fill out all the information on the way in because that's how I verify that you are a member. So, Owen, really quick, on the automation, that is kind of automated, but I do it through the Stream Deck, not through Alexa.
That's what I meant, though. Like, but it's part of that. It's already set up one touch kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are
that's
the good stuff.
Yeah, that's all stacked up inside of Stream Deck. So basically, I do that, and then it triggers the hue lights, and then of course I've got OBS over there that is pushing the images that's on the projector in the back. Yeah. And then everything routing through there. So I just hit that, and then it kind of runs it.
Are you still planning on changing the lights? I remember early on when you got those lightsabers back there, you were like, I don't know if I'm going to keep them.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to them now.
Right.
So they've become kind of a part of it now. So yeah, so I'm kind of used to them now. And like when you're in here, like when this light is off and you're in the room, so basically like when I'm not live streaming, in some of my videos you'll see it as well. But when I'm not streaming, I don't have it on blue. I'll have it on just kind of a low version of just a normal color light. So this is called my studio bars. So I'll have it, something like this.
That's
when I'm chilling. And it'll be turned down to about like yay. So basically I have those that'll be turned down really low there. And then I've got this little ball over here. And then I've got another like little mood light over here in the corner, but they're all hue. So I can just change the color on everything. Yeah. And like when I'm just in here chilling, the addition of those lights in the background really make it, just super chill in here.
That's part of like what I mean by workflow, like we create what we call pre-flight checklists. And this is like our workflow. So the whole idea is like when I'm live streaming, this is the setup, right? It's like the hue light goes here. It's on 4,600 Kelvin. It's set, on this brightness, 50% brightness. Like all of this crap's written down for me because I actually have a videographer that comes in here and sets up my studio on Wednesdays and Thursdays. But the whole idea is that he's not in charge of how it looks. He's in charge of duplicating the look like a set manager every time. So, but you guys, for those of you guys that are your own set managers, you are your own videographers, like you need to have like these things, like the hue lights are set to blue, 50% brightness, the projector's on, because otherwise you get through it. That's why I got rid of the TV back here. Like you guys know, I had like a real Costco TV back here. And instead, I switched it out with a fake TV with the green board in it. Why? Because the TV was causing too much light to come on the back end. And so like when I did a green screen, I have green, green shadow on this part of and it's hard to get out. Then I'm darker because there's backlight behind me. And some of my videos, the TV's brighter than I am. And it's like, man, I don't know if I can use that.
Dude, every day of my life, I can honestly say any show that I watch, the TV's brighter than I am. I'm the dumbest person in the world. I'm like, I didn't know that. I watch the Discovery Channel a lot, so pretty much always the TV is brighter than I am.
When we grew up, the TV, it's like, can you turn that TV up? Like, I can barely see it from here. Now, the TV goes on, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. My kids are upstairs watching Mr. Beast. I love watching how kind of like bright and in your face Mr. Beast is, but it's overwhelming for my eyes.
Well, it just goes, the same thing we were talking about when you're constantly trying to build out sets and trying to do things so that you can create content efficiently and effectively. I have two screens here. We all do it differently. Mine is, I don't know if I have mine set over this way. I have two screens here, and I have two cameras in between each one of these monitors. Yeah. That is a 16:9, and then the same camera flipped up at 9:16, so I can film content for TikTok, YouTube vertical videos, and then I run the same camera up there that can give a side angle view. But every time I change those screens, if I just pull something up in a live stream and I'm monitoring something, it can throw a completely different light onto my face. And I'm like, well, I just changed the entire spectrum of, I work all this time, get the candles right, get the background lighting right. And then all of a sudden I open up like a channel review and it's like, it looks like, E.T. landed on the left side of my face. And it's, oh God, I think he's going to take me away. But these are the silliest things that you don't even think about while you're buying all this gear. Like, well, you just put everything in front of you, but you spend more time trying to dial things in so that you finally get it to the point where you go, consistency is a trick. That's something it takes a long time to dial in.
Man, I love that. Consistency.
What's funny is my lighting and everything is like opposite of consistent. So like I was consistent for a really long time with my lighting, but in this place right here, over there, it will now be consistent from like a few days onward indefinitely. But then like, everything else where I'm like moving things around the room and that kind of stuff, like it's super inconsistent here. Even like with this, when I'm streaming right now, because like when you guys came on, I took my StreamYard and I moved it from the left, which it basically reflects some light over here on this side. And then I put it in the middle, which then changed, just how I look, right there on screen, just a little bit, compared to, having that white thing over on this side of the screen, that I was able to, catch some ambience off of. Listen to us like nerding out on lighting, like little details, like monitor reflections and whatnot. Yeah, it's great.
This is one
great. Because I think one of the things, as to Daniel's point was talking about is like, sometimes the things that look easy are actually very complicated. And when you break that down, it gives people a reminder that, hey, it might take time, but as long as you get it set up the way you want and can actually get to that point where you are consistent, where you are doing it. Like, Nick has been telling us all for years to save time, and especially for Daniel, don't worry about your hair, just shave it off, just get ready for filming. That's the biggest productivity hack I know.
It's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
Yeah, either one works. Either one just works great. Yeah.
Well, listen, that's exactly what the thing we're talking about is all of this stuff, whether it comes down to making content, trying to grow a YouTube channel, trying to build out your set, trying to figure out how to use all the tools, get your lighting right. It takes a lot of effort to make things look effortless. I promise you. I promise you.
And another thing too, on that note is that like when you are watching YouTube videos, or think of it this way, like for everybody that's watching right now, like when you're putting your videos together, like there's the big question of like quality over quantity, right? When you're thinking about quality, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to make content like MKBHD. It simply means that when you're making your content, if you can get things to a point to where people are not distracted by the quality, where they can just come in and they can enjoy the content without thinking like, man, this audio freaking sucks. Like I can hardly hear what this person's saying, or like, wow, this is like, it's dark. I can't even see what's going on. I can't even see this person that's in this video right now, or the thing they're trying to show me. So like, if you can remove those obstacles in somebody's brain to where they can just come in and enjoy your content, that's all you need in terms of quality. And then if you decide to, of course, you can upgrade from there. But at the, at the core of it, you just need to get things to where the quality of your content is not a distraction, and how you're putting things together in your edit is not a distraction. It adds to the experience versus people being like, whoa,
Yeah.
You know, your audio got crazy loud there for, you know, like 3 seconds. And then it went back down to where I had to actually like stop and adjust my speakers and, you know, all of that stuff. You know, when you can kind of even out your audio and make everything just a better, pleasant experience for the people that are watching, it really gets you a long way because you're removing those, you know, those obstacles or that negativity, you know, associated with your content.
What this is
Huge
called,
advice.
by the way, is media literacy. And it's something that we as content creators are conscious of on a top level. But your audience largely is not conscious of it. Doesn't mean that they're not like actively living on it. We're talking about bad audio in the comment section. You know, when you open up a video and it's like bad audio for, even if it's for a second, the user clicks off. They're like, oh my gosh, that was a horrible experience. Then they click off. In your mind, you might go, it's only a second, right? But to the viewer, it killed that whole experience. It's the same with like overexposure. Like if this side of your face is just totally bright and kind of like washed out, the viewer might watch for a little bit, but they're going to log off because they feel uncomfortable. It's like the headroom thing kills me. Like if your headroom is like way off or whatever, like you're way off centered, it's hard for me to watch that video. The average viewer, though, has no idea why they don't like it. They just don't like it. So it's like Nick said, you really got to get them to a place where they're just not paying attention to the quality, right?
Are you suggesting that this layout is somehow visually offensive? Oh my God, I think Andrew's drowning. Someone throw him a life preserver.
Do I have too much headroom, Owen? I can't figure out if my headroom is too much or not.
I am screenshotting.
I'm not positioned right in the frame.
You know, it's funny that you guys do that because you guys are actually widescreen in the 1/3 frame, which is actually a really great place. Which is actually a really great place to be.
But a little bit too far in the 3rd, though.
Yeah.
You're in the 4th. You're already in the 4th.
Up here,
Nick is now in your room.
Change the dimensions.
Rule of 7ths.
Yeah.
Nah, just really confused him. Rule of 17ths.
So really quick, Simply Small Insurance Care says, how do you put a poll in chat? So to put a poll in chat, all you have to do, if the feature is enabled on your channel in your chat, all you have to do, and I'll share the screen here really quick so that you can check this out. Let's see, go here and bam. So in StreamYard, they make it really easy to share your screen like this. I just want to, you know, bring that to your attention. Way easier than other live streaming platforms that you might see out there on the internet, you know, in places. So I just want to make sure to mention that really quick. But basically, if you go down to the bottom of the chat right here, you're going to see your emojis here. To the right of that is the poll option. And then when you click on that, just like in the community tab, you fill out the information that you want, and then you put out the questions that you have there, and then you hit to go, and then it will go ahead and pin it for you to the top of the chat there, so that you can go ahead and collect whatever information or insights or whatever it happens to be from the people that are hanging out. But that's something that YouTube has to have enabled on your YouTube channel. And with that, I happened to notice, I believe it was either last week or the week before, that I had that enabled. I just forgot to use it. So I'm glad that somebody brought it up this time so that I could actually, you know, get in there and actually, you know, kind of mess with it a little bit and, you know, see how it works. So if you haven't voted in that yet, please do. Right now we're like 771 votes, and I'm just curious just to get some insights. I mean, it's an overwhelming amount of people under 1,000 subscribers, which is what I assumed. However, you know, if you haven't voted yet, please go in there and vote. I'm just curious to, you know, collect this information so I can make sure to cater what it is that I'm doing to, you know, to the right people. So this helps me make better content for you. All right. So let's see here. As we keep on going to this list, you guys want to answer some questions here really quick?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Sure.
All right. That's what I'm talking about. So let's see here. So the very first question is going to be from Tut Tips. Tut Tip says, the type of channel is living in an old home and tips for your home. The goal of the channel is at least 2,000 subscribers and pass on tips for your home. And the question is, I'm building a home channel. Who could have known? No, I'm just kidding. Just because you mentioned like the home thing, like several places in hard times. But I'm building a home channel, but it's so many. I did niche down. Is it possible to break through in something so popular? Thoughts on, let's condense this down to make it relevant to everyone. So if somebody's starting a YouTube channel right now, or they're just getting going, like all the people here that have under 1,000 subscribers, is it possible right now in 2021 to break into a space that is already competitive and has a lot of successful content creators? What are your thoughts, everybody? We'll start with Owen next to me, and go clockwise.
Yeah, sure. You know, absolutely. I think YouTube is the only platform where a new creator can break in right from the get, because the algorithm is sort of structured to be lenient in the beginning. That said, if you're not building watch time and click through, you won't be considered, and you're going to enter the grind. That being said, like I heard the home niche, and that to me is like saying I made a channel for men. You know, that's huge. That's just like this big, wide, non-specific vanilla audience. So I would definitely be looking at like a niche inside that niche where you can really build a unique perspective and a name for yourself.
Daniel?
Understand what you bring to the conversation. It's exactly what Owen was just saying. My channel is only a little over a couple years old, and it's got a couple 100,000 subscribers now. So if you're going to talk to me about being able to build a channel of
200?
I'm a couple thousand short. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Super pumped.
I know.
Awesome.
I'm very excited. So it is absolutely possible to grow a channel nowadays. When you talk about the home space, about home renovations, first of all, I was a contractor for over 35 years. Mr. Owen above us comes from the contracting space as well. We know that space. What you have to understand, whether you're doing home renovations or what are you doing, gaming, or you do whatever your channel's about, YouTube is nothing other than a series of conversations. You have to understand what conversation you want to be in and what you bring to that conversation. If you are unique, if you stand out, if you look different, feel different, sound different, if you stand out in that conversation, I promise you that's all you need to do is put the viewer's needs first and make sure that people go, I know that, I've seen that, I want to watch that. You can grow a channel absolutely as far as you want, especially in something like a home renovation space or fixing your house. Dad, How Do I is a channel that exploded onto the scene, doing nothing but, I'm a dad, I'm in my home, I'm going to talk about how to fix a leaky toilet, how to replace a couple of shingles, and he exploded on YouTube. So if you're asking if you can do it, absolutely. The real question you should be asking yourself is, how do I do it? And that starts with you. You have to look inward and go, how am I going to get recognized? How am I going to bring a unique perspective? And how am I going to make my channel stand out against all the other channels that are out there? Because every time your channel is served up, it's not about search, because 3/4 of the views on YouTube are served in recommended. So you need to make sure that when someone who's interested in working on their house and is also interested in playing guitar and is interested in the greatest live streaming platform on the universe, or interested in any of those things, that you want to make sure when all those different types of videos are served to that viewer, when they see your video and they go, oh, wait, there's so many interests that are being served to me right now, but that one video that serves that one interest that I'm interested in pops out to me and says, ooh, I want to stop and watch that, because that video is grabbed my attention and sucked me into the viewing experience. Look inward, start there, and I guarantee you can grow your channel.
So good.
Andrew, thoughts?
Yeah. I think that no one would say that there are too many homes. People are always building and buying more, and there's not too many people on YouTube, and there's not too many people in niches. And to Daniel's point, being part of that conversation is so crucial, because just because there are some people in the space doesn't mean that they're having every conversation that needs to be in there. And sometimes you have the same conversation with multiple people just to get perspective. And when you count yourself out and you're not putting yourself into the conversation, that is worse for the viewer, because they're not getting all aspects on one thing. And yeah, you can even think of it like this. There are multiple rooms in a house. That is multiple pieces of content you can make, especially around home renovation. Try different things. See what works for the conversations you want to have. Maybe you do stuff around the bathroom, and that's what really starts taking off. And you're like, hey, there's more rooms in a house than a bathroom. Subscribe if you want to learn how to do this to your entire house. There's so much flexibility in that content type that makes sense, that leads you room to experiment. So don't count yourself out of the conversation. Make sure you're there. And make sure that what you are providing is exactly what people are needing. Because to Daniel's point, to Owen's point, is that when you find what people need and you can have those conversations, that's when YouTube can take a look at those analytics. They can see, how is this converting? How long are people watching? Do people click on this content? Should we recommend it out? And once all those things come together, that's how you get pushed out more. But if you are too afraid to start, it will never happen.
Boom. So another thing to think about too is that in addition to, you know, finding the ways to stand out and things like that, is that on YouTube, people are going to resonate with different people also. So one of the things that's really awesome about YouTube is that you know, even if you're watching, you know, like for example, there's a really good chance that if you watch, you know, my content, that you've probably seen Owen, you've probably seen Daniel, you've probably seen Andrew, and because you've probably seen Tim, you've probably seen Daryl, you've probably seen video influencers, Sean and Benji, you've probably seen Matt from Little Monster, you've probably seen Catherine Manning, you've probably seen Sonny Lenarduzzi, possibly, depending on exactly what it is that you're looking for. But the thing is, like, you're going to watch some of them and you're going to be like, not really for what, I don't know why, but I'm just not feeling them. And then you're going to watch other people and you're going to be like, okay, yeah, like the way that they communicate, I get it, right? Like I understand, you know, what's coming out. I like the way that they, you know, explain things, whatever. So because of that, you know, the thing is when you're coming into a new space, you're going to, you know, collect the people, so to speak, for lack of a better way to say it right now, but you're going to collect the people that resonate with you. And those people that resonate with you are going to get the value from you. And that the you part of your YouTube channel is going to be one of the things that's also going to help you stand out against the competition. So even if you're going into something that's competitive, it does not mean that you know, like everybody on the screen was talking about, it doesn't mean that you know, can't do it. It just means that you're going to have to put in the work, but it also means that people have done it before you, which means that you research their channels and you know, pay attention to the videos they put out that people have liked and things like that. It's going to give you tons of insight into the right things that you can do and the wrong things that you can do based on the experience that those channels have already had as well. So, you know, there's a lot of advantages to coming into a crowded space.
Preach. That was great.
Really good.
So next question that we have here on the list, we've got, let's see here. Dole Whip Dad says, in my opinion, can I still make it on YouTube? It's just another way of saying, I wish I had started earlier. Yeah. You know, you're right. Yeah. Like basically like, I think it's that. And I think that it's also in some cases, I think it's people that are considering starting a YouTube channel and they're just kind of like on that fence and they're kind of looking for like a, yeah, or they're looking for a, nah, it's way too crowded so that they can be like, okay, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't be on camera. Right? So I have a mix of those things. But the next question that we have here is from Incarcerace, says, I have friends that make YouTube videos and I've seen that they barely put any effort into their videos while I actually spend time and effort working on a video. Why do my friends have more subscribers?
Yeah. You know, there's that assumption that your viewers want this high quality video. You know, this great article came out on Mr. Beast just recently that it was explaining how he intentionally makes his videos look homemade so that the viewer feels like it's something that they can connect to. Even in my own Owen video production, I feel like we're like overproduced and maybe a little unrelatable. And so we're trying to you know, just simplify our production a little bit. And actually, my next 3 videos coming out are TubeBuddy tutorials, and they're very cut and dry, simple, fast paced, and fun. And I think that they're going to do really well. So I think you have to watch out between like what you think the neighbors want polished silver and maybe they don't.
Well, you know what? Right there. Stay there for a second. Here's the thing that you guys have to start differentiating. If you start deciding what you think quality is, and you say, well, quality is like a really crisp picture, and I spend a lot of time on my edits, and my quality sounds really deep and rich, and I sound like I've got a really professional voice. You have to understand that people don't know that when they're clicking on videos. When they look and there's a scroll, they're trying to find value. Okay, so what Nick said earlier was, don't let those things get in the way or distract from the value of the content. Yes, have a decent sounding audio. Yes, have good looking videos. But if you think, well, that's the thing that will get your channel to grow just because your mic sounds better or just because your video's clear, it's not that at all. It's value. People click videos in the scroll because there's something that is their interest. They go, I want to watch that video because I think there's something I want to see. And if they are satisfied by the promise of the thumbnail and the title, by the content, then they will go on to watch more. So think more in terms of quality of, are you giving the viewer the thing they are looking for? Not just the right resolution, just not the right audio quality, not just how crisp in 4K your video is. Give them the thing they're really looking for. If you're making a video about how to cure poison ivy or how to get rid of poison ivy, then that video better spend all of its time quickly getting to the point of, got poison ivy itching up? Let me show you how to get rid of it. Hit it, nail it, give that value, and people will go, that was great. I'm in. I loved it. I watched all of it.
Yep.
Boom. In finance, education niche under 100 subscribers, thinking of moving all content outdoor, woods, lake, beachside. Try to stand out. Thoughts. Personally, I think that's fine. I would experiment with it. Like if you think that that's going to help you make, better content or help people, resonate with you more, then give it a shot. Or if you're doing it because it's like, hey, everybody else is doing them, in their place, whatever. And I'm just going to go, sit in some pretty environments and just kind of take the serene approach to what it is that I'm doing. I think it's fine. I think anything like that is worth experimentation so that you can start to uncover things that people, respond to. At the end of the day, if you're doing finance education, it's really for you. It's going to come down to the value more than anything else that you're doing and how you explain things and how much you give in terms of the information that you're putting out there. That's going to make more of an impact than the background that you're using for your videos. However, once you do take people like out into the woods and all that, you're going to be able to compare that content to other content that you have where you've been indoors or in a studio or whatever it is, wherever it is you're recording your stuff. You're going to be able to compare that content and just see if there's any noticeable difference in the content sets. That, let's say you make 10 videos outside and then you have 10 videos indoors in a very specific location, your office or something, then in that case, you'll be able to look at those and say, hey, is there any difference here in terms of, people watching longer from, these? And then of course you got to break down all the other variables that could have also happened there in terms of the topics and the specific things that you're talking about and so on. But you'll have some information based on, those changes that you're doing with your background.
Yeah. So. I'm really kind of passionate about this topic because you have to watch out between like, are you doing it for your sake or for the viewer's sake, right? And is your outdoorsiness connected to your content? Like, is like, hey, have you ever been, like, you're at the beach and you're like, have you ever noticed how the waves come rolling in one after another and they never stop? What if you could make money that way? Like these waves coming in over and over.
That was great. That was that was fantastic. Wow. Yeah, that's why Owen is just awesome at what he does right there. Like how he thought of that right there. That was fantastic, by the way. That was great.
If you just go out
keep
there.
Going. Sorry, keep going. I was just.
No, yeah, I appreciate that. And that's what we do. Like we come alongside creators and help them find that edge, to expand. If you just do the Lambo thing, like, what's up? I'm at the beach. I'm successful, dog. Like, I just don't think it's going to resonate as much. But storytell. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So here's some just things for you. So in terms of background environments. So the guy, and I always forget his name, who has the Project Life Mastery channel. Do you guys know what's his name?
Yeah, for sure. The bald guy.
Yeah. So so basically one of the things that one of the videos that I watched with him a long time ago, he was talking about he was looking at the place that he has now, and it was like a little bit outside of his budget, but he was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it anyway because the type of content that I'm making and blah, blah, blah. I'm just curious if people will perceive me differently if I get this like high-end place compared to, my place that was kind of normal. And he noticed immediately when he started, making videos from his new place that he started getting more leads from stuff, more course signups and all of that, because the perception that people had of him was different when he was in that environment compared to the environment before. A friend of mine who is here in Thailand, he's doing the same exact thing, and the same exact thing happened to him. So normally he made stuff in a condo. They're just kind of like a normal, condo that you would rent here in Thailand. And he went down to the, I think he's in Koh Samui now, and he went down to one of the islands and he rented, because like prices on things here are just nuts because of, what's going on in the world right now. We don't have any tourists, so things are just like super cheap. So he went down and he got a place that's normally about $2,000 a month. And he got it for, I think, maybe $500 a month or something, but it's wicked. But anyway, he's making content there. Same exact things happening with him, to where he's just getting more people signing up for his stuff and all that, just based on what it is that people are seeing. So one thing that's really important, especially if you're doing like finance content or any type of content where, you're talking about, let's do it this way. If you're doing finance content, let your content itself, without you having to say anything, reflect that you know what it is that you're talking about, right? To where you can kind of demonstrate that you know what you're doing financially just in the environment that you're in. Same exact thing goes if you are doing like fitness content, right? So like, you would take, and I actually had this conversation with somebody recently who actually I think is hanging out in the chat still. But the same exact thing applies. Like if I'm taking fitness content and I'm watching content based on fitness, I'm going to find somebody that's fit that I'm going to be taking that, information from. So, like what it is that you're doing in your videos and how everything's set up is creating a perception for the people that are interacting with your content. So depending on the type of content that you're making, that's something that's really important to think about. Like I'm sure everybody here and everybody in chat has seen the videos on, hey, make $1,000 in the next 24 hours type of thing. And then you click on those videos and those people are sitting in places to where you can clearly see that one, either they're just extremely frugal, which is fine, or two, they're just making that content just kind of blowing hot air, and they, and they're just trying to get views from it and that sort of thing. So, like what's going on in your environment, it matters in terms of how people perceive you.
So big.
Stephen James was the names you're looking for.
Yep. That's it. I always forget. Stephen. Yes.
Jack, Stephen.
And to
Benji,
point
in the house. What's up, Benji? Hope that you're doing awesome, my man. Nice to see you swinging by here. Hope that you are doing great.
Benji.
So we're gonna say he's saying what's up to Owen.
What up, dude? Yeah.
Well, wait, only to Owen? That's the only guy he says hi. He comes into a room of 4 people and says hi to Owen.
Now we know how all the others felt when Dorothy was like, I think I'm going to miss Scarecrow most of all.
Oh, nice.
That's epic.
Nice. Benji saying everybody's really jealous of this guy who only pays $500 a month for rent. Yeah, well, the funny thing is not only is he only paying $500 a month for rent, but like his place is huge. And like he literally, like the whole entire front of the place is glass. And he's up on the mountain, so you're literally looking out over the ocean. Like, I mean, it's like a MTV Cribs type of place. It's pretty wicked. And he's getting it for $500 a month. So yeah, it's a pretty cool gig that he's got going on right now. But downside is the person that actually owns it is having to rent it out for $500 a month. So that's the downside. To where normally they get around $2,000 for it. So let's see here. Astute Mathematica says just reached 100,000 subscribers this past Wednesday. Thank you very much for all the
Congrats.
Congrats.
You for crossing 100,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Nice work. Love that. Love seeing that stuff come in. So let's see here. So next question we have is I have a gaming channel. I recently changed my content and now I'm getting low views. Is this normal? Thoughts?
Yeah. You change the expectation of what they came for. So like I always say that, when you're doing a gaming channel, especially if you grew with a specific franchise or game, that's what the expectation was. Like if I had an expectation of a cooking show, for example, and every day it's going to teach me how to do cooking in 5 minutes. And then one day I log in and it's like, today we're doing 18-hour sewing videos. I'm like, well, I didn't subscribe for 18-hour sewing videos. So similarly, when you change the game you started playing, well, that's now a new audience. It's not the same necessary audience that you're building, especially if you go from like a first-person shooter to a 3D platformer. There may not always be that crossover. So it's really depending on what the focus was and what you changed it to. So is it normal? Yes. And I would say that you need to keep in mind, is this what people came for in the first place? And if it is something you're trying to transition them over to, how can you do that?
Really good, and I think it's also a natural part of the growth process, right? My good friend Kristen Hills over at Six Sisters Stuff, their channel is probably around 700,000, and they built it all off of the Instapot, right? So it's like Instapot cooking, Instapot this, Instapot that. They've maxed out. The business is where it's going to go, and she knows it. And so the whole thing is like, how do we get to 2 million? Well, now she's built a new, what we call a silo. Daryl might call it a bucket, but a content category, a playlist. She started a new playlist on outdoor grilling is the new topic. And the views are way low, but she knows that it will grow over time. And then she'll have a channel where she now has, Instapot and outdoor grilling, Instapot and outdoor grilling. Then the next phase she can go into will be maybe air fryers or something, but I think that it's a natural part of the growth trajectory to branch out, knowing that your levels are going to sink and you've got to sort of rebuild that silo up. So don't ignore the content that got you there in the process, but yes, be building another leg on your table for sure.
And to Owen's point, if there's a way, even within those two different kinds, like, you can combine those two cooking styles to bring value in that way. So then the audience who is coming for one thing can then be used to the other. So when you introduce it, it's not so out of left field.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we have a new person in the room that I want to say hi to, and that's Owen. Owen, hi, Owen.
Hi, Owen. How you doing?
I just came on here to make sure that Daniel's feelings weren't hurt. And
what?
he
No,
knows.
I'm not offended. What? I'd say, God, it's okay. If you have a favorite, that's okay.
What
That's
Owen
okay.
didn't mention is he was the only one that said hi to me in the chat. So that's all I'm saying. That's why I said hi to him. But
I think
what's
if
up,
you
guys?
go look out front side of your door, I sent a fruit basket to your front door just to say hi.
Like the kid in the Christmas Story.
What's going on, everyone? What's up, Nimminati?
Good to see you, Benji.
Hey, Benji, I got a question for you. We've got 150,000 subscribers, but the ratio of returning versus new viewers is 75 to 25%, resulting in slow subscriber growth, approximately 120 per day. Any suggestions for attracting a higher percentage of new viewers?
Well, of course, search, you know. By the way, a lot of these numbers that people share, and if we talk about numbers, I don't really talk about numbers very often, are all arbitrary because everybody's content is going to determine the audience and the user behavior and the traffic sources. So don't take people's numbers too seriously. Even yours, you have to put it into context with whatever it is that you do, how much you know, how well you're talking about it. Like, are you an expert? Are you, is this more for connection versus information? So that's number one. But two, I would say to attract more viewers outside of your own audience is definitely search, get in front of people's needs. So by the way, again, this is really hard for me to answer if I don't know what type of content, but generally speaking, if I am starting from 0 subscribers, or even say, I'm like, you know what, I want to grow an audience, I'm trying to figure out what are the things that people need that I can offer through my content niche, through what my channel is about, and look at what people are putting into Google, what people are putting into YouTube, and then get in front of those, get videos that would result for that person's search query and make sure that it would serve that person's needs. Because if you do that for one person really well, the algorithm will send you out to a second person and 10 people and 100 people. There's, what's interesting? I always try to simplify everything, Nick, so that you're just serving the one person. The algorithm is really good about letting you have this one chance. If you don't mess up that chance, I want to say something else, but if you don't mess up that chance, guess what? They will give you another chance with another person. That's how the algorithm works. Versus if you do mess up that chance, they'll be like, hey, who's the next best person that would serve this person's needs? Because say they click out of your video and they go to somebody else's video and that video serves that person's needs, they're going to promote that person's video instead of you to the next person. And so that was a lot, but that's what I would do. I was going to pull up the channel.
I was going to pull up the channel so we could give specific advice, but this particular channel, so he's talking about another channel because this one that I just pulled up, it's not that channel. So I was going to pull it up for specific advice, but it's not the actual channel. So, but another thing just to think about really quick is that when you are when you're trying to do that, like look through your old content and look at the content that's gotten in front of more new viewers as well. And, that's content that, that YouTube is putting out there that's pulling in new viewers for you anyway, versus the content that only your subscribers are responding to. So, go through your recent videos, say like the last 90 days, and look at the content that's actually bringing in new viewers. Also look at videos on your channel that have already been proven to perform, that because, some perform excellently, and because of that, they just bring in a ton of new viewers, like regardless. But you're going to have some content on your channel to where it's going to be more heavily weighted towards subscribers. So because of that, just look at the stuff that is bringing in more new folks, and try to make some more of that content too, or at least the logical next content that those people might enjoy.
By the way, I just realized I'm not actually subscribed to Nick Nimmin.
What? What?
So
wait. Shocker. Are you subscribed to Owen Video?
So the reason
he only says hi to Owen, and then he lets me know he's not even subscribed.
So
I don't want to say that I'm seeing a pattern develop here, Benji.
The reason I bring this up, okay, there's a point here. There's a point for anybody watching.
Yeah, don't try to be friends with Benji. He only likes Owen Video. We know. We got the point.
The point I'm trying to make, by the way, I might be on one of my other accounts. I have like 3 accounts that are named the same thing. But the point I'm trying to make is oftentimes you will watch somebody over and over and over and be a fan of theirs and maybe overthink or not even like think about that subscribe button. I wake up early, like 5:30 a.m. every single Saturday. I get on a Peloton bike and work out for 45 minutes. Guess who's the only person that's on live for like 4 or 5 hours? It's Nick Nimmin. So I'm watching him. I'm giving him like 1 to 2 hour average view durations, at least for me. But the reason I bring that up is sometimes you have to do the call to action, you know? People are using YouTube in different ways. By the way, I really think that I'm just on one of my other accounts that are just have the same avatar and name or whatever. But
man, you got it out there. It's too late.
The other point I'm trying to make, everyone subscribe to Nick Nimmin.
Great point.
Do as I say, not as I do.
That was a great recovery there at the end. That was great.
It's like, all right,
But Benji makes an excellent point right here. Listen, I think sometimes all of us get wrapped up in the subscriber thing, and I'm just ribbing Benji because I love him and he's fantastic. Wow. But it really is about YouTube doesn't care as much as who you're subscribed to or how many subscribers you have. What they really care about is the viewing habits of the target audience you're trying to connect with. So you'd be much better off having almost no subscribers, but a ton of people coming to watch your content, because a channel that is growing effectively should be reaching people who have no idea who you are and shouldn't be subscribed in the first place. If you were getting a ton of views from just subscribers, your channel would be in trouble because it's going to go up, hit a glass ceiling, and stop moving forward. You always want to be reaching people who have no idea who you are. So that's really great advice from Benji.
Great example of this is a guy named Joe Henkel. And Joe, I don't know if you're watching right now, but just like props to you on your channel. So Joe is a very ambitious young creator, and he has a lot of spoken word sort of poetry on his channel. Has about 2,000 subscribers. You know, it's maybe 1,500, 1,700, hundreds of thousands of views on his videos, though. He is monetized and he is making money on his channel, quite honestly, almost as much as I am on a 65,000 subscriber channel. So I love what you just said there, Daniel, and we're seeing it in real life. It's about that watch time, the viewing habits. I kind of break that down into watch time and click through, like how many times do people click on that thumbnail, then how long do they sit around after that? That's where the money is, guys, because like YouTube doesn't pay you out on subscriber watch time. You know, they pay you out on total watch time. So the subscriber is kind of like an indication of how popular you were at that moment. You know what I mean? Because you got people that, like, I got people that subscribed to me 5 years ago. They're not tuning in today, and that's fine. But I care about the views still, if that makes sense. I think I need to work on that phraseology a little bit better, but go for the views and the watch time. We're seeing it actually pay out dividends.
Absolutely. And, you know, like when it comes to that too, you know, like you can even test that yourself. Like, you know, if you're watching this right now and you're like, huh, that's interesting. Like go just make a new account on YouTube and go and just start, you know, watching stuff. Like go in and just, you know, the first thing that shows up on your homepage, click on that and then like watch another one and then watch another one and then watch another one. Watch like 3 of their videos or 4 of their videos. And then like, don't open that account for like a day or 2 and then go back in and you're going to see something from that content creator on your homepage. You can test that yourself just so you can see exactly how that works. Even if you don't subscribe, even if you don't comment, even if you don't like, if you go in, you watch their videos for an acceptable amount of time, you watch a few of them, YouTube's going to show you more of their content.
Yep.
Painfully Honest Tech in the house. What's up, Jason? Dude, I hope you're doing great. Says, hey, folks, looking good. I have a question. I have a cover song in one of my videos. How do I monetize or do I not monetize?
That's a bucket of snakes right there. Unfortunately, when it comes to cover tunes, you know, there was a time that YouTube had a feature that you could actually look and see which licenses were, in terms of permissions, were accessible for certain songs on the platform. YouTube had that feature where you could look at the tool and say, all right, they're going to, you know, this artist who holds the publishing rights to this song will share the revenue, or they will take all the revenue and force monetization, even whether you're monetized or not. They'll put ads in front of it. They removed that tool, and we don't know that now. The one thing I will tell you, when it comes to covering songs, make sure that you know, that you absolutely know that you're allowed to cover that song, because it's so much deeper than fair use. People think like, oh, I'm just covering a song, I should be able to do that. There are people who own the songwriting credits, there are people who own the publishing credits, and at the end of the day, if you don't know that you have specific permissions to use that song in a video, don't use it. I promise you it'll save you a lot of time and aggravation.
Yeah, and to Daniel's point, I've actually helped channels who do cover music, and they may get as much permissions as they thought they needed, and this third party that has like a MIDI sample in the song has the rights and took all of it. So like it can mitigate all the work we did to get to where we thought we were okay. So it is an uphill climb, and I agree with Daniel. If you're unsure, maybe think of another choice.
So and it comes to strategy, right? My good friends over at the Ohana Adventure, it's a family channel. They sort of built their channel on song parodies and not just parodies where they kind of weird out the song, but also just doing a song, just lip syncing or doing their own version. Those were not designed to monetize the channel. They were designed to bring in large audience that would then get monetized on their other more creative original videos. And so, you know, it's like this 1-2 punch, and we call
the doorway.
Yeah. We call it the pull, push, pow strategy, where some videos are pulling viewers in, some videos are you're pushing out to viewers. And it's like Benji was saying, there's a different approach. And so if cover songs are a part of what you do, there's just no escaping it, right? Use them to go viral to get people in, right? But don't, like, your goal is not going to be to make $7,000 on that video. You know, your goal is to make future videos of your own music, that or whatever that
flex your skill set through the cover, so that people are like, hey, this is awesome. So they watch your stuff, they watch the entire cover, so that when you publish something original, that they might see it.
That's right.
But let's make one clear distinction here. Whether you choose to monetize that content or not, you still fall under the same terms of service and community guidelines, whether it's monetized or not. So don't just assume I'm going to cover a song, but I just won't monetize it and I'll be okay. That is not the truth, because the copyright holders still have the power to decide whether or not they think you're using their content in that might be in violation of their own copyright. So just make sure you think it through. Don't just run things. I know a lot of times people want to just make something and go, I'm just going to make it because I can, and whatever, where the chips fall, they fall. But that could actually take you as far as losing your channel if you actually covered stuff where people came in and put a takedown notice and you got 3 copyright claims for using someone else's content in a row. Just be careful. Be careful.
Yes.
With that, guys, I got to go. Great to see you all. I love
Thank you for showing your handsome face here, my man. Nice to see you. Nice to see you here. Hope to talk to you soon.
I will see you guys on the flip side.
See you,
man.
I'm not going to say bye to you because I might hurt the feelings there.
You'll have to say bye to all of us.
Yes.
There's a bunch of snowflakes on screen. He's got to make sure that he, like, handles it all, like, appropriately. So, hello, Maria Nicole says, yes, but for small channels, eager to monetize, subs are important. Absolutely. The thing that we're trying to express is that a lot of people on YouTube just obsess about subscriber count, and they focus on that versus the things that are really important that cause subscribers to happen. So the things that cause subscribers to happen are getting people to click on what it is that you do, making content that they enjoy so that they want to keep coming back for more. But as long as they keep enjoying that content, YouTube's going to keep showing them your stuff anyway, and that's what's going to help you get that 4,000 hours of watch time that you also need.
And stay there for a second. Think about that. Like, people eager to monetize. You're right. There's a goal that you hit that you go, oh my God, I set a goal and I hit it. I was able to monetize. But let's be realistic. If you hit that, if every single subscriber matters and you're climbing up the ladder to 1,000 and you finally get 4,000 watch hours and you go, I've finally done it. Guess how much money you're actually going to make at that level for monetized content. I promise you, at 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours, Google won't even pay out until you hit the $100 worth of income and AdSense revenue, no matter how much money you've made. So that's a great goal to set, and I love it. But don't get so fixated on it like that's it. Once I get there, then I've reached the promised land. If you focus more on making content that connects with your target audience and trying to make sure that your videos are being watched and those views are going on to watch more of your content, all of that other stuff falls into place. All of that subscriber stuff, you won't even think about it. You'll look back and go, wow, how did I grow so fast? Oh, right. I was focused on the target audience, and all of a sudden things happened.
To this point, you don't need 1,000 subs to start monetizing. There are affiliate programs. There are other ways you can earn and monetize before you even hit that subscriber metric. And if you think that that's the only metric you need, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. I've seen small channels that aren't in YouTube monetization have affiliate program links that are performing incredibly well because they're at recognizing what their audience needs. They're providing value and they're earning in that way. So yes, subs are important if monetization is a goal on YouTube in terms of their platform and their service, but it's not the only way. And that is just as important because all that other stuff you need to do will eventually lead to subscription if you plan it right.
By the way, one of my favorite things to do right now is underrated, overrated. And people ask me this about subscribers. I still think subscribers are really important because it's a snapshot of your community, right?
Yes.
Like it's giving credit to all the work you've done. And, you know, whether it's a potential new viewer becoming a subscriber, even another creator, that number means something. So it shows that you've worked really hard to cultivate a community. So YouTube wouldn't have a subscribe like function if it didn't serve any purpose at all. There is a reason why people want the gold play button, the silver play button, because it's like acknowledgement for what you're adding to YouTube. So just realize that that doesn't guarantee future views. It just confirms maybe past views and your current community. But again, views really comes down to the video.
Excellent. Yeah. And you know, with the subscriber count too, like for every person that comes in that enjoys your content that chooses to subscribe, what a great way to tell YouTube in terms of a satisfaction signal that that video was great.
Yes.
And one, to watch it, you know, to the end, but then also to subscribe and maybe comment or like or whatever. But, you know, that's also one more, you know, point in your favor.
Well, look, say that again. Say that again, because you just said something more important than a lot of people understand. If someone is watching a video and they like and they comment and they choose to subscribe, those metrics and engagements points work together to send signals to YouTube about the kind of content and channel you're building. So don't put your nose against the, you know, the glass so much that you can't see the forest for the trees. It's not just subscribers. It's not just views. It's not, you know, it's all works together. So think of the step way back and go, how is my audience engaging overall? Are they watching? Are they liking? Are they sharing? Are they commenting? Are they subscribing? Those kind of things all together are what really start telling YouTube that your content and your channel are connecting with the target audience and encourage them to recommend more of your content to similar viewers.
Boom.
Welcome to the Nimminati.
21st century superhuman, welcome to the Nimminati. If you go to nimminvip.com, it's going to redirect you to our members only Facebook group. And you want to make sure that you fill out all the information on the way in because that's how I verify that you are a member here after the live stream. And on that note, we got one more super chat that's in here, so we'll do this one, and then I've got another thing to say here. So First Class Gamer says, over the years, I suffered depression, anxiety, real life issues, and more. I want to provide motivation content and help people with a gaming twist. Good idea? ? Also, thank you for all your YouTube advice. Our pleasure. But in terms of providing motivation with a gaming twist, give it a shot. You know, give it a shot and see how people respond. Look around, see if other people are doing it. If so, see how you can do it better, or see how you can, you know, kind of carve your own spot in that space. And if nobody's doing it and you're combining motivation with gaming, you might create something completely new and people might really love it. So absolutely give it a shot and see, you know, the type of response that you get from it.
I agree with that. And there's so many games where there's a hero overcoming something. And if you use that twist as the motivation angle, like they wouldn't be where they were if we didn't help them through that journey. There's so much natural tie-in with gaming for motivation.
So with that said, a couple of things that I want to say. First off is that Benji is going live. What time are you going live, Benji?
in about 30 minutes, and I'm going to be talking about YouTube for entrepreneurs. So it's going to be a fun one. I find that, I don't know, when I talk to other entrepreneurs, they probably need the most help because they have the least amount of time. So I'm excited for this conversation.
Awesome.
Yeah, so if you are an entrepreneur that is using YouTube for your business, then check out that live stream. And in addition to that, I know a lot of you guys, hang out here in the live stream and you get a lot of feedback from Roberto as well when he's in here. He's going live on Daryl Eves' channel as well here in like a minute. So definitely, go over and check that out as well. So you have two great streams going on today. Plus, Daniel was on earlier on the StreamYard channel. They were doing channel reviews over there. How often do you guys do that, Daniel, on the StreamYard channel?
We do that the second Saturday of every month on the StreamYard channel. And we've gamified it, so it's a whole new experience. So we hope you swing by.
I love what you guys did today, and I'm watching it like, okay, I'm going to copy that. I'm going to copy that. Yep, copy that. Yeah, it was great. Yeah, absolutely great. Loved it. Yeah. So, so just as a heads up, so you've got Daryl's stream going on. You've got that one if you want to go see the input on their channel reviews. And if you are watching that, just a heads up, when you're watching them do other channels, just keep in mind that, you just think to yourself, how does what they're telling this person apply to what it is that I'm doing, right? Really easy. And then, make sure that you check out Benji's channel if you are an entrepreneur for his live stream and you're wanting to use YouTube to leverage or wanting to leverage YouTube for your business. And then, of course, check out Daryl and Roberto as well in the meantime. So thank you, everybody, for being on screen here today and sharing your expertise. It's super appreciated, as always.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That's been my pleasure. And for everybody that's been hanging out in the chat, thank you for your participation today. I hope that you learned something. And look, I know according to this poll at the top of the screen right now, a majority of you are under 1,000 subscribers. And I know that, all the things that we talk about here, some of it can be, a lot of information. So if you were taking notes and you're like, hey, I need to work on this, and this, I just encourage you to focus on like a thing or two, because, there's a lot of stuff to learn. So, focus on getting really good at a thing or two over the course of this coming week. And then we'll meet up again here next Saturday and keep moving forward from there.
One more thing. I want to show you, Daniel, I'm already subscribed to you. Okay. Just as evidence, Andrew, I just subscribed to you. Everybody subscribe to these guys. They pour out their heart and soul. And anyways,
that was peer pressure right there, my friends. Peer pressure.
So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. And again, just as a heads up, the audio version of this is now available as a podcast. If you just look for Nimmin Live on your favorite podcasting platform. Currently, I'm still waiting for Spotify. I think I didn't check today, but still waiting for Spotify and a few other places for approval. But I'm on Apple and I'm on Google. So it's going to be released a week delay. So if you want everything current right now, then you got to show up or watch it on the replay here. But if you want the audio version for later, then of course that's available in the archive there. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for watching Nimmin Live. Remember to check out our sponsors and other useful resources in the description below this stream. See you next week.